What's the daily word? Daily word, daily word, daily word, daily word, daily word, daily word.
Welcome to the planets of debates. Debate Talking Radio.
You get skills to debate, a place where they separate the real from the fake.
What up? What's good? It's your boy Skills Block the Bully, representing the city of Chi. And you already know, when I ain't in the studio, I'm tuning in for Sal's show, Debate Talk for You. Got some of the hottest debates on this joint, man. Come get edified.
1-646-716-7320. Hit that number one. Throw some questions out there.
Scripture really saying that it's a debater, brother. It's a waker, brother. Maybe you relate to others. If you want to hate a brother, I'ma holler later, brother.
Don't agree, no PhD. Just use a word in your brain.
Shalom, shalom, Sal Showtime, and all the Debate Talk for You listening audience. This is Mikha'EL, Ben Yisrael, yours truly, coming straight out of Chi-Town. LG love all day. This the best show in the nation that brings the young conscious minds to awaken the dead. Keep doing your thing, Showtime. We're going to keep bringing in truth. In Jesus' name, the Mashiach. Shalom to all the nation of Israel.
Hello, everybody out there listening in. It's Brother LeVar, co-teacher of Absolute Bible Truth Ministry. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge and give reverence and credence to the Father of all creation, the Holy One of Israel. Peace and blessings in the name of our Lord and King, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. I want to take this great opportunity to invite you guys to the Absolute Bible Truth broadcast on Blog Talk Radio. If you love to hear the word or have any questions concerning the word, call in and dial 646-716-8249. That's 646-716-8249. We are live on the air every Saturday, the Most High's weekly Sabbath, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to listen in via internet, type in www.blogtalkradio.com/Absolute Bible Truth. We also have a Facebook page. You type in Absolute Bible Truth, all one word, in the search engine. At ABT, we teach the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth concerning the Word of God while leaving out all personal opinions, speculations, and beliefs. Our ministry believes emphatically that the Bible is indeed the absolute truth, and we pride ourselves in bringing forth the Word in a clear, intelligent fashion so that the body of Christ will be edified in abundance. I love you guys, pray our strength in Christ, and we will do the same for you. Shalom.
You don't want to miss the best debate show via internet? Debate Talking Radio. Check out the schedule for Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time or at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. To check out the archives, go to www.blogtalkradio.com/debate talk 4 and the letter U. You can listen via phone or via Skype by dialing that number 646-716-7320. Again, that's 646-716-7320. You can also go to iTunes to the podcast section. Just type in the search box Debate Talk 4 and letter U, and you'll see the show pop up absolutely free. You can check out season 1 all the way up to the present season and enjoy the entire show. So keep it locked on Debate Talking Radio. Check us out.
Greetings from the I Love Being Black movement. We have the largest black Facebook page with over 6 million fans worldwide, and we're offering advertising options at affordable rates. If you want to increase your reach with loads of new fans, then this is absolutely the best way. We also offer seminars, consultations, and strategic planning services by Kumi Rauf, aka the Social Strategist. Why not contact us today at ilovebeingblack.com or call us at 310-807-5775. Cheers.
Always Shining Elegance, your go-to online catalog web store. Based out of North Carolina, offering one-of-a-kind shirts, fringes, family and baby clothing, and much, much more. Always Shining Elegance was founded by Zakiya Surgeon and Nina Jordan. Fueled by their passion for designing and accessorizing, decided to work together to provide a one-stop shop for families to purchase one-of-a-kind designs and accessories to accentuate their outfits. The goal of Always Shining Elegance is to keep individuals feeling beautiful, looking sharp, and always elegant, whether cultured out in a sundress or formal attire. Always Shining Elegance wants to keep you and your family dressed to impress. Remember, when shopping at Always Shining Elegance, you're not paying some multi-million-dollar company. You're helping real families who enjoy creating these wonderful items with detail, care, and love. So shop secure and be sure to remember Always Shining Elegance for your next online shopping experience. There are several ways to contact the ladies of Always Shining Elegance by phone at 646-334-3273 or 704-258-0169, Facebook, or visit Always Shining Elegance on the web at www.alwayshiningelegance.storeenvy.com. That's www.alwayshiningelegance.storeenvy.com. Always.
Hi, this is Tyrone Thompson, host of the Blog Talk Radio broadcast Talk Real Solutions. Please tune in and listen to all of our shows 7 nights a week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At Talk Real Solutions, we cover a variety of topics to ensure we speak about what may be needed in our community at any time. Talk Real Solutions is the hottest blog talk radio show going on right now. You can listen to our broadcast at www.blogtalkradio.com/Talk Real Solutions or visit our website at www.talkrealsolutions.com. Also like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Talk Real Solutions. You can call in at any time during the show and add to the conversation and offer your solutions at 1-858-357-8453. That's 1-858-357-8453. Because at Talk Real Solutions, we want to make sure you have a chance to talk real solutions.
Never allow the possibility of your heart desire to trouble your mind, whether it is success or happiness, because your mind is a powerful machine that is very capable of manifesting anything that it conceives and believes in. Become more enlightened about life and the subconscious mind by visiting quotesforthemind.com. You are only as strong as the thoughts that constantly dwell in your mind. Therefore, never allow any negative belief about your abilities in life to be granted shelter in your mind. Edmund Mbiaka, quotesforthemind.com.
Shalom Aleichem, Israel. This your brother Zadok Ben Yisrael, assistant teacher at the Congregation of Israel, the Knesset of Jesus, located in Buffalo, New York. We believe in the full, uncut Word of God from Genesis to Revelation, and we seek to share the truth that the Holy Spirit has witnessed to us. So if you are interested in finding out more about our ministry, please visit us at www.congregationisrael.net. You can also find our teachings on YouTube under my namesake, youtube.com/Zadok Ben Yisrael. We also have a page, Knesset Yeshua, KNESSETYSHUA. You can also find us on Blog Talk Radio every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, on the Growing Stone Bible Study Show. Go to blogtalkradio.com/Nazarene. And if you feel you just want to reach out and talk to us personally, call us 866-78-BIBLE. Shalom, and we look forward to hearing from you.
This is Renald Francoeur representing from Atlanta, Georgia. And when I'm not busy in the studio, I'm checking out Debate Talk for You Radio. Keep up the great work, Sal Showtime.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to another show. You're now listening to Season 5 Reloaded of Debate Talk for You. Of course, I'm your host, Sal Showtime, and we are back. Once again, it's Friday. I know a lot of you guys are listening via phone and via Skype. I see the phone lines is lit up right about now. We have a lot of people tuning in to Debate Talk for You via phone and via Skype. I appreciate all the people that's calling in via phone. Of course, all the international listeners out there that's checking out Debate Talk for You Radio, there's much love to you guys. Let people know that Debate Talk for You is on the air, and this is a morning show for some people that's overseas. So for those people that's waking up early in the morning checking out Debate Talk for You, I appreciate you checking out the show, being here live. And, of course, everybody that's listening via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on social media, welcome to Debate Talk for You Radio. Tonight, we usually have debates on Debate Fridays, but tonight we're going to definitely have a classic show for you guys. My special guest is going to bring forth a powerful, controversial lesson to the masses out there, and I'm going to let you guys know about some things that's going on next week and the weeks after, later on in the show. Today's show is entitled, "The Jig Is Up, True Israelites Revealed." Once again, today's show is entitled, "The Jig Is Up, True Israelites Revealed." Again, my special guest is standing by. I'm going to introduce him in a few minutes. But, of course, as usual, I got to go through a few brief announcements. As usual, send me an email at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. That's debatetalk, the number 4, and the letter U, @gmail.com. Go to facebook.com/debatetalkforyou. That's facebook.com/debatetalkforyou. You can download the show via iTunes. Go to the podcast section and type in the search box Debate Talk, the number 4, and the letter U, and you'll see the show pop up absolutely free. You can download it to your PC, your Mac, your laptop, your tablet, whatever you have, and automatically uploads once the show is over. So once again, take advantage of the iTunes podcast. It's absolutely free. Again, once the show is over, it automatically uploads, so you'll never miss another show. You can check out Season 1 all the way up to the present season once you subscribe to the iTunes podcast. Go to Instagram.com/DebateTalkForYou. Of course, you have some videos up on YouTube. Go to YouTube.com/DebateTalkForYou. Of course, we're on Twitter at Showtime DT4U. That's Showtime. D as in David, T as in Tom, the number 4, and the letter U. To help support the show, you can donate by going to www.paypal.com to use the email donations@debatetalkforyou.com. That's donations@debatetalkforyou.com. Remember, it's your support that's keeping us on the air. As a matter of fact, I always want to thank those people out there that continue to show their support and don't understanding that without their support, we wouldn't be on the air today, and we need to continue support so we can work on new projects in the future. And in order for us to grow and expand, of course, like I said, we need the support of the people out there. So once again, if you want to support Debate Talk for You, go to www.paypal.com and just use the email donations@debatetalkforyou.com. If you're a new listener to Debate Talk for You, please sign up with Blog Talk Radio. Type in the search box Debate Talk for You and click the follow button. This is another easy way to keep up with the show schedule. You will automatically be notified via smartphone or email about upcoming shows. Let's keep in mind, I invite a variety of special guests on the show, so whatever information you hear, I highly recommend that you take notes and find time to do your own independent research, just to make sure the information is valid. We must hold our elders, teachers, and scholars accountable for the information being brought to you in all public venues. Also, the number one rule on this show is no foul language. There's no foul language. Thousands of listeners tune in all across the globe, some of which may tune in with their children or even the elderly. Let's keep it professional. Of course, I'm going to let you guys know about some things before I introduce my special guest. Next week, guys, we have the Round Table episode 14. That's right, guys. We have the Round Table episode 14. For those who don't know, the Roundtable is like the number 2 highest rated show for Debate Talk for You. Usually we have the Lions Den debates, but the Roundtable is also a highly anticipated show. So you don't want to miss next week's Roundtable, episode 14. That's going to go down Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And the topic of discussion will be, does Israelite camp doctrine hinder our people? Once again, the topic of discussion will be, does Israelite camp doctrine hinder our people? My special guest is going to be here in the Roundtable will be Brother Sha'ala, Daniel Ben Yisrael, Jason Sosa, Ben Trey Reed, Chris Watson-Smith, Yasha Ben Yisrael, and Dwayne Barton. So we're going to have 7 special guests right here on Debate Talk for You in a Roundtable episode 14. You don't want to miss that segment of the show. Make sure you check it out live. All right, so without further ado, let me introduce my special guest. Once again, my special guest has been here from last year. He's been in the Lions Den. A lot of people speak about his debates when he comes on the show, but it's going to be his first time actually presenting a lesson to the masses out there live on the Debate Talk for You stage. He has his own radio show on Blog Talk Radio called the Hebrew News Network. You can go to www.blogtalkradio.com/Sword of Israel. Once again, that's www.blogtalkradio.com/Sword of Israel. Representing Chicago, this is my brother, Mikha'EL. What's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Shalom, Brother Sal.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening, brother? Anything you want to say to the people before we begin?
I'd just like to say, grace and peace, shalom, shalom to everybody. And I hope that this lesson really does, even if you have a skeptical eye about all of these groups of so-called Negroes, African Americans, just seem to be sprouting out saying that they the chosen people or the true Jews or the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. Even if you're kind of skeptical about it, I ask that you just listen to this because maybe you never heard it from this point of view. And it's one thing that most people know, if you came in contact with Hebrew Israelites, we all have different beliefs for the most part, meaning we don't believe exactly in everything like an organized religion, down to the T. But what we all agree on is that we are the lost tribes of Israel, the descendants of the Holy Bible, and that Deuteronomy 28 is one of the main foundations, signs, and signals and prophecies that puts its finger and identification on the lost tribes of Israel that are scattered abroad throughout the earth. We over here in the Western Hemisphere, so that's one thing that we all agree on. So you've probably been familiar and heard brothers on the corner or seen TV network shows where brothers was breaking down Deuteronomy 28. But we're going to take a real close look at Deuteronomy 28, and on top of that, I'm going to add some outside sources, some statistics and things of that nature. We're going to match the statistics up with the scriptures and the prophecies and see if they match any other people other than us. And, with that being said, I'm about to get it in. I'm going to enjoy it, and I just hope y'all get your popcorn because it's about to be a good one. Oh, and yes, the Hebrew Hood Network, I'm actually the co-host to that show, me and the brother Gerald Israel. And my show, my every week show is The Walls of Jericho. That's every Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern Time. So that's The Walls of Jericho. That's my main show that I teach every Tuesday.
All right. Once again, we have a lot of people tuning in to the show. I see more and more people calling in. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome. I'm still waiting for your reader to call in. He said he's supposed to have a certain number. But if he's out there, brother, it's press the number 1. If Mikha'el's reader's out. Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know what? I apologize about that. Yeah, he had a little issue jumped up. He said he'll try to make it, but I'm fine. I can handle it on my own, until he get here, whatever.
All right, not a problem, not a problem. All right, guys, so get your pen and pads ready, take down some notes. And for those that are new to the show, remember, this is the show where you, the listening audience, can call in with your questions and your comments. All you got to do is dial that number, 646-716-7320. Press the number 1, and we can add you into the conversation. And, we welcome people to call in. And, we welcome all questions and comments. All I ask for you guys to do is make sure when we call in, there's no foul language, guys. Keep it clean, keep it professional. All right, Mikha'EL, take it away, brother.
Yes. I'd like to say first and foremost, all praise is due to our Most High God, to the Father, Elohim, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. All reverence and love and joy and direction coming from His Son, the Messiah, Jesus the Christ, the Mashiach, some known by Yahshua, some known by Yahushua. He is the Messiah, Jesus Christ, who was an Israelite, who was a brother like me and like you. And with that, I'd just like to say I'd like to edify everybody, and I just pray that the Most High put the spirit of truth on everybody and some understanding, so that if one thing you will know when you get off the show, if you don't think we Israelites, you will at least know that the ones who say they Jews, it's definitely not them. So with that, hey, we can go and get into this. Now, I really chose this one because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. We got the big thing up now with the Hebrews and Kemet, and I know I kind of be in that mix. I get up in that mix. I have to step back and say, what's really the bigger issue right now? I mean, what's the bigger goal? Is it just, tearing down false doctrines? Yeah, that's cool, because you got to tear down. Lies cannot coexist with absolute truth. People been saying for a long time that there's many truths. No, it's not. It's one truth, and then there's many alterations to the truth. So we're going to get to the truth. And the thing is, I chose this because not only with just the political aspect or everybody going with the intellectual debates and all of this going on, and it's actually a good thing, because one thing that has happened lately with the debates and with the internet, Facebook, and all these, you see all these Israelites and all of this, is it's making it cool. And that's one of my goals, to make it cool in the hood for young brothers and sisters to want to read books. Seriously, I want to make that cool in the hood, man. You're not a nerd, you're not a dweeb. We want it so that our young kids around here like, man, what book did you get this month? Man, I just got Babylon 10 books too, something like that. That's what I'm trying to do, so they could be lining up at Borders instead of lining up just to get some Jordans all night. So that's one of my goals. So with that being said, I'm going to make my case. We're going to read these scriptures. We're going to go into some history and, a few statistical type things, and we're going to see if this shoe fit. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start it where it's always started at. And I'm going to start in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Now, I'm about to read Deuteronomy chapter 28. And this is one of our main platforms. This is one of our pillars that hold us up to identifying who the Israelites are, the lost tribes that were scattered. We were disobedient to the Most High God, and so therefore He gave us an option before that, though. He said you could do what I say and obey me, and you can be blessed. Or you can disobey me, and then your seed later on is going to be cursed. Now, we see what position we in as the quote-unquote African-American. And it doesn't just cover us, because also going to prove that Israelites are not just in the Western Hemisphere. We're in Africa. We're in Asia also, But regarding us, the African-American, the brothers in the Caribbean, Virgin Islands, Bahamas, we don't have it too good if you line us up with the other nations, and there has to be a reason for that. We're not stupid. Our intelligence level is not lower. We're not, just some subhuman type of species. So we got to understand this has to be a power much stronger than, what people making it off to be. And the cat is out the bag. That's the thing. We having a discussion about this, but the powers that be in the world, they know who we are. It's just we don't know who we are. So with that being said, I'd like to start at Deuteronomy chapter 28. And it reads, And it shall come to pass, If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. Blessed shall the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall thy basket be in the store. Blessed shall thy be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thy be when thou goest out. So you don't really need no translator for that. He's telling the ancient Israelites at this time that if you do what I tell you to do, I'm going to make sure that you be on top of all the nations. So that would be equivalent to us, wherever we decided to be at, that would be equivalent to us being a superpower. So it would be the other nations coming to us for stuff and not the other way around. Well, our people being our people, they messed that up. And so we happen to be on this other side that I'm about to read. And when I read this, I really want to sit back and analyze it, each verse that I read. Of course, we can't read it straight through because we'll be here for 5 hours. But with the time I have permitted, I'm going to make it clear. So this is the same book, Deuteronomy chapter 28. And if you just read verse 1 till about verse 14, you will see all the blessings. Because, you know, blessings is real easy to say. But curses, whoo, they detail. So it's a lot more of them because they go from everything from disease all the way to economics, bogus religion, and everything else. So we're going to read this and see if it starts to look, who it starts to look like on this planet. Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 15, everybody. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. And it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall thy basket be in thy store, cursed shall thy fruit be of the body and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kind and flocks of thy sheep. Skip down to verse 20. The Lord shall send unto thee curses, vexations, rebuke, and all those that settest thy hand unto do it, until thou be destroyed and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings that thou hast forsaken me. So he's telling the Israelites, man, I gave you a list of blessings, but if you choose to be disobedient, I'm about to give you these list of curses. And when we read the scriptures, we understand it's one thing the Most High God can't do, and that is lie. He cannot lie. And it's also something that people need to learn from this in the scriptures where he tells you, be careful, don't make an oath. You know, don't make oaths and swear to God about stuff because God want to hold you to your word just like we hold him to his. See, some people think that the Most High is just cruel. A lot of people believe we the Israelites, but they believe it's cruel, and they like, how we the chosen people, and God love us so much, but he doing us so bad. Well, the whole thing is we going to show you the Most High don't want to do this. He don't even enjoy it. But being that he's the Most High God, for one, it's not in his nature to lie like it is in ours. For two, he would lose all credibility on us. If he just, we sob our way up out of everything, then he would actually lose credibility with us. So that would mess up your faith. Because if somebody tell you that they're going to give you a blessing if you do something, and then, something get a little shaky, and they like, no, I ain't going to give you the blessing. Well, that's the same way with the curses. That's why Job said, can I not receive, good from the hand of the Lord and evil also? But we're going to continue. I'm going to skip down to verse 36. Same book, Deuteronomy chapter 28. And verse 36 is saying, the Lord shall bring thee and the king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, even wood and stone. And thy shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Hold on, let's stop right there. Now, first off, in 36, he said that he'd take us to a nation and we'd serve gods that neither us or our fathers know, even wood and stone. Well, you could take that in a lot of ways, because even before we got on the slave ships, you know, a lot of us, you know, when we migrated through Africa or whatever, we picked up a lot of little customs and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, coinciding with the transatlantic slave trade, actually before it was the sub-Saharan slave trade, and that's when the Arabs took some of our people into slavery and moved them around the sub-Saharan part and all through the other ends of Africa and towards Asia. But the funny thing about it is they conquered us under Islam, and we know one of the biggest symbols for Islam would be stone. You know, one of the things they have is the cobblestone that's over there in Mecca that they all pilgrims to, and they throw rocks at it and blow kisses at it. The wood would represent the Christian cross, because although the original, what you would call Christians or Messianics, were our people, Hebrew Israelites, we didn't deal with the stuff that you see with the crosses and all that type of stuff as symbols of holiness. No, it was just a Roman death symbol. It was the Roman government's form of execution, like a hypodermic needle or electric chair. So this lets you know we were not used to worshiping these symbols, because that's really what you're doing, whether you know it or not. If when somebody mentioned Christian to you and the first thing pop in your mind is a big wooden cross, then that lets you know you got an idol in your head. So it's telling us these things that our fathers didn't know, per se. You know, we got off into paganism. That's what got us sent into captivity. But originally, we didn't know things like that. So, again, let me continue. I was at, let me see, verse 36. Okay. Let me see. Verse 36. All right. My bad. Apologize for that. Okay, so it says in verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword amongst all the nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Now, this is like a dead giveaway, because it said that we will become an astonishment, first of all. Then it said a proverb and a byword among all the nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. This is what I want y'all to pay attention to. Ever since the so-called African Americans, descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, and yes, we know it was black people over here before we got here also. That's a whole other class. But dealing with those that are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, since we've been over here, we've been every other name besides who we were. We started off, we was Negroes, you know, and we was Negroes, we went from Negroes, and then I think we went to, colored. Then we went from colored, then we went to Afro-American. Then we let Jesse Jackson come up in the late 70s, early 80s, whenever it was, and come up with the good idea that we going to be African-Americans. I don't know who he got it from, but from what I understand, he the one that made it public. And that being said and alone, I definitely don't want no title that he gave nobody. You know what I'm saying? He is not the moral standard for us to be calling ourselves out of anything that he coined or put on there. But the funny thing about it, none of these identify a nation. A nation is a landmass, a government, a language, and a culture. How can you have an African, one continent, American, two continents, culture, government, and language? Think about it. It don't exist. It makes absolutely no sense. So it's saying that whoever these people are, the lost tribes of Israel, one way you would be able to identify them is they would be a byword. So they'd be called everything besides the nation that they are. Okay, now that's one hint. Let me see. I also want to go, matter of fact, I'm going to keep reading. I might as well keep reading. I ain't going to even cut y'all short on that one. All right, I'm going to go to verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out in the field, and shalt gather but a little in it, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with oil, and thy olive shall cast his fruit. Now look, it's little symbolic talks on there about the worms and the locusts. That them basically, terminologies for you won't get it. It'll be consumed. It'll be devoured before your eyes because you won't even be able to enjoy your labors. Sounds a lot like all you got to do is do the research of slavery. Us in the slave plantations. And, we known for cotton fields. We didn't reap the proceed and none of that. The master did, but it was all grew through our labor, not just cotton. You had rubber, rice, flour, sugar, salt. We actually are responsible for even these companies today that still sell this stuff. The sugar that you going to buy with the symbol on it, with the bags, dominoes, and all that type of stuff, that's sugar that your ancestors was responsible for sharecropping all of that. But you not getting absolutely any money from it. And that's because the Most High said this was going to happen. Okay, let me continue. Verse 41. Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Y'all remember the movie Roots? All that, they was selling the kids. If you could go have a child, you watching the child grow up, get about 9, 10 years old. Say it's a boy, he look like he gonna be strong. It's a little pretty girl, she look like she good around the house or for the master's eyes. They could just sell them off, and our ancestors couldn't absolutely do nothing about it. Verse 42. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within thee shall go up above thee very high, and thy shall come down very low. Everybody that came over in the United States during the building, quote unquote, of the New World, all of them got their piece of the pie. The only two people got it real bad, the Native Americans, they wiped most of them out. And then the ones they left, they Christianized them. And then they found a way to join them and join them into the slave trade. You know what I'm saying? They tried to enslave them first. If you go look up the 5 civilized tribes, I think it's the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Navajo. I can't remember all of them, but y'all just go look up what I'm saying. You will figure it out. But the 5 civilized tribes owned slaves themselves. So not only were they being oppressed, and I know it's some type of connection with us, I know what everybody thinking, but not only were they being oppressed, but they wound up saying, hey, you can't beat them, join them. We might as well get us some slaves. So didn't nobody show any type of mercy for the so-called African American and Negro. We're going to show you this because this thing came from a much higher source. Okay, I'm going to keep going. We have verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. So, we see that the only people we can see, and when it says destroyed, it don't mean literally, because then that means the Israelites wouldn't be here forever. And then in the same book, it tell you it say forever. So if something is destroyed, how could it still be there forever? It wouldn't last in there. So what he's saying is we are really destroyed as a people on every level. We have no government. Our education system is kaput. We don't control that. Our so-called spiritual leaders, the churches, the mosques, and all that, they ain't doing us no good because they feeding us lies and half-truths. The politicians definitely don't care about us, the little people we elect, because they get selected half the time anyway. So either way it go, we are a destroyed people right now in this condition that we in. Okay, let me continue. Let's go to verse 64. I want to skip down to verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. There that go again. But you see the key word? He said he will scatter us all around the world. Who did that happen to? Ask yourself. That did not happen to the Irish. People kill me when they bring up little isolated incidents where the Irish came over here and they were indentured servants. It was a big difference because a lot of them was criminals. So in order to pay their debt to the kings or whoever over there in Europe or the new ones in the New World, what they did was they would actually go into a form of servitude or slavery for an amount of time. And it's the thing. They never became a byword. They're still Irish. Their names were still O'Shea, O'Reilly, O'Kelly, and such. And then what's funny, after they dug themselves out the hole, they bought them some slaves. How you think we get a Shaquille O'Neal? O'Neal ain't African, that's Irish. But we're going to continue. We're going to see that the God, the Most High, is telling the truth and call every man a liar. So we're going to see this thing because it's time for us to wake up. And I know as long as it's my watch, I'm going to say it. So we see that. Now I want to skip down to verse 68. And the reason while I'm running all these down, in the midst of me running these down, I'm about to go to something. And man, you know what? I'm going to surprise y'all. Here we come. Don't worry about it. Give me a second. Verse 68. Now here's a big one. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, let's really take a look at this verse. He said that he will bring us into Egypt again with ships. Hold on, stop. Whether you believe in the Bible or you don't, I know you've heard the Bible story or you've seen the little Ten Commandment movies, the little bootleg with the European supposed to be Jews and the European Egyptians, and neither one of them looked like that. But we all know the story of the Israelites bondage in Egypt. Well, where in the world did the whole nation of Israel ever go back into Egypt as slaves? It never happened. It never happened. It ain't happened in nobody's history. Not even the white guy over there who called himself a Jew. He don't even try to make up and add that lie. So we know that he can't be talking about literal Egypt. Well, when you go into Egypt or Mizraim, Egypt is actually a Greek word, Greek/Latin, and it has a couple of meanings to it, but one of the meanings is black. But as far as the Hebrews were concerned, Egypt was always symbolic with bondage, with captivity, because this is actually where we started our nation at. We grew in the land of Egypt. You know, we had some times there. But when a Pharaoh came that wasn't digging us no more after Joseph's death, y'all know the story, he set up taskmasters and they enslaved us. So that's when Moses had to come back in there, and the Most High sent them in there, and he had to do some killing, and he had to free us. So that stuck with us, and we passed that tradition down and that story down, and the Most High had it written, you know, to all of our children and generations after that. So Egypt was always symbolic with bondage or captivity. And that's why it says after that you will be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. Let me also clarify something, too. People like to bring up the fact, they say that, oh, that God is mean, man. Why is it when you look in the Old Testament and certain places in the New Testament that it say slaves obey your masters? First off, let's educate each other. Let's do this together, y'all. Bear with me. First off, the word slave in itself comes from the Slavic people. Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, all up through there. It actually it didn't even have a word for that. So the real terminology for a slave to the Hebrews would be a bondman or a bondwoman, because that's bondage, to bind. That's by force. So a lot of times when you see slave in the scriptures, you have to put it in context. It's actually talking about a servant. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the Hebrew customs was you can owe a debt to a family, and in order to pay that debt, you would go into servitude for them for about 7 years, depending on the amount of debt or whatever. And then you would be free, and it would be straight. The debt is forgiven. It worked out for both sides. But this bondmen and bondwomen is totally different. This is degrading, oppressive servitude to the umpteenth power. And this is where we at. And at the bottom it says at the end of the verse, and no man shall buy you. That word buy, when you look into the scriptures, actually means to redeem. You see what I'm saying? Redeem or recover. So you're going to go into slavery as bondmen, bondwomen, slave men or slave women. You're going in there by ships. You know, that's really the killer part. No other people went on ships. These are slave ships, and no man will recover you. We didn't have no ambassador from Africa, from Ghana, Sierra Leone, none of these other countries come over there talking about, you know, give me my people back, and was successful with it. No. At one time, we had a few Israelites that were able to go back into Ham's land, and they set up Liberia. And if you look over there now, they still get into it with the native Liberians who were there before the Israelites came back there and set up shop. So they got a little beef going on. But to you, it's just like them African tribes warring. No, they're two totally different people. You can't just get stuck on color. Just like an Irishman is not a Russian. They're not the same. Okay. So we see that. Now, here's where we about to get interesting, because it was something that I was watching on. I was watching one of the debate things, as I know everybody been watching them, and I got to give a shout out to them brothers, Awana Sapp and them, El Gabah. They came up with a book. It was a historical book, and I advise everybody to get it. You know, there's certain books every Hebrew Israelite got in their arsenal that just cannot be debunked, and it's history. You know, Babylon and Timbuktu is one. Get that. Write that down if you don't have it. Get you Hebrewism in West Africa. That's another one. Get that one. Actually, it's just numerous books. But it's this one. I mean, wouldn't it be fun if we could literally hear from a slave himself? I mean, I would really like to hear what a slave got to say himself instead of us, passing story that's trying to figure out what was it like in slavery. And let's see if it line up with the scriptures. But before I do that, this is what I want to bring up. If you look over in Africa, we have tribes over there. We have tribes, numerous tribes, I can't even name them all, that if you look at their history and talk to them, and I know some personally, they have oral traditions and oral history. And in their oral history, they have stories of what you would call, quote-unquote, Jewish ancestry. So you have to ask yourself, when did a Jewish invasion into Africa happen? And I want you to go try to find it, because you're not going to find it. You can find the Islamic invasion into Africa, because even a lot of us that came on the slave boats were Muslims. That was due to the Arabs, the Arab slave trade and all that type of stuff. So they brought Islam on us. But what was funny is we're going to find out just because your religion, you can be Islamic, you could be a Buddhist, you could be a Hindu, Christian, whatever. It does not take away from your bloodline and ethnicity of who you are. So these people, even though they had these titles on them, when you check their traditions, their oral traditions, which the Most High allowed them to keep, he did that for a reason, they'll tell you that they are original inhabitants of what you call Israel or Jerusalem. Now you got to ask yourself, how did they get over there? Well, during 70 A.D., you had to sack the siege of Jerusalem, where the Roman general Titus invaded Jerusalem, burned it down, and, they hung like 500 Israelites a day, and they fled into Africa. But I ain't going to just talk about that. Let's go ahead and get into it. So with some of these tribes in Africa, you can look them up. I know everybody know about the Lemba. That's one, but you got a lot of them. The Lemba tribe, you got different Bantu tribes. You got the Yoruba. You got the philosophers in Ethiopia. You got the Ibu tribe. You got the Ijo tribe. You got, I'm trying to think of all of them. Well, it's a lot of them. I can't really name off the top of my head. I used to be good at it. But just Google whatever and look up African tribes with Jewish ancestry. It's another one called, I think it's called Black Jews of Africa or something like that. You can go look that up. And they'll start naming off all the tribes that's believed to have or claim that they have ancestry all the way back to the Holy Land. So I want to read this. It's a little article. You could get it off Encyclopedia Britannica. And it's on the Limba people. You could probably get it from everywhere. Just type in Limba people because they are well known. And it says this: the Limba or the Warimba are a southern African ethnic group found in Zimbabwe, South Africa, with smaller, little-known branches in Mozambique and Malawi. According to the Tudor Partridge, professor of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, in 2002, they numbered an estimate of 50,000. Y'all know that number is just like real diluted, but we're going to let them say what they say. They speak the Bantu languages, spoken by the geographical neighbors and resemble them physically, but they have some religious practices and beliefs similar to those in Judaism and Islam, which they say were transmitted orally. Now, I just want y'all to pay attention. Now, remember, this ain't us talking. It's the outside talker, so you know they ain't going to give you everything, so you got to peep what they're saying. Okay, and it continues. It says, the name Limba may originate in Shilimba, a Swahili word for turbans worn by some Bantu peoples, or Limbai, a Bantu word meaning non-African. Now, I want y'all to pay that attention now. Now, listen to that. Remember, the Most High, we just read in Deuteronomy 28, it said, wherever you go, you will be a byword and proverb. Now, a lot of Israelites, when they teach Deuteronomy 28, they only teach the part with the slave ships. Because, see, we know this was the kingdom of Judah. They came over here in the slave ships. As you read in other scriptures, it says that Judah would be amongst the Gentiles. So this would be the southern kingdom, was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But, and you got a lot of different Israelite teachings on that, but what we all agree is the Israelites came over here, and nobody can deny that there's family of our Israelites over in Africa. So it said a byword and a proverb. So they gave him a little cute name, Limba. Let me go back and reread it. Say the name Limba may originate in Swahili. So that's a native African language. Some people say it has some Hebrew connotations to it, though, but I don't really know about that. The word for turbans worn by some Bantu peoples of the Limbai, a Bantu word meaning non-African or respected foreigner. Now, we were taught that all the black people over there in Africa were just native Africans. That's where they're from. So if they did not come from Africa, and let me get this clear. I don't get too caught on the continent thing, because Africa and Asia was connected at one time. So you could ask me, am I African, I'm Asian. I'll say, okay, yeah, my people come from the continent of Africa, Northeast Africa, or they come from Asia, because that was all in the same area before the British built the Suez Canals and separated them. See, they was trying to separate what you call the Middle East from Africa, some racist type stuff. They didn't want Egypt over there, and they dang sure didn't want Israel over there. Okay, so we see that that these people are called by the natives words that mean non-Africa. That's what Limba tribe means, and respected foreigner. Okay, we got another group, the Phalashins in Ethiopia. Now, you even hear some Israelites teach that the Phalashins are not Israelites but converts, because they get into the whole thing with the King Solomon story and Sheba and Menelik. But the truth is, if you read the scriptures, you can see Israelites always had some type of connection with Ethiopia. Meaning we always, outside of the Holy Land, our lands, that was somewhere we always went and lived. We always had Israelites there. If you go in the book of Acts, it was an Ethiopian, but we know he wasn't Ethiopian. He traveled from Ethiopia to Jerusalem, because we know it's in the law 3 times a year. Every male has to come to Jerusalem, keep the Passover and things of that nature. But he was called an Ethiopian. But they didn't deal with nobody else at the time. Wasn't no non-Israelite coming, finna serve join to come all the way there to come, try to come to the feast or whatever. So he was an Israelite who lived in Ethiopia. So I say all that to say, if you look up the meaning of the word, the Phalashins, again, just like with the Limba, it's a native word given to them by the native Africans or Hamites, which means alien or sojourner. Alien or sojourner. Some even say stranger. So there you go again. You got these people that look totally African, as they've taught us, yet the natives there got enough sense to call them strangers. We got to see why this is. So I'm going to continue. Okay, so we see that with the Limba tribe and those people being over there. Like I was saying, I have something to whip out on you. I'm going to go ahead and go there now because I know the suspense is getting y'all. Then we're going to get into one of the reasons that the Most High even let this happen to us. And then we also going to get into how we can, work on recovering this because it's happening. These many people not just jumping out the woodwork saying they Israelites for nothing. This the Most High is actually has this happening, so you can't stop it whether you like it or not. So you might as well just get on board and know where you fit at. So I'm about to go to a book, a beautiful book I might add, called, like I said, I gave a shout out to the brothers, Awanasap and them. This book right here, it went straight to my collection. But this book is called. This book is called The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Oluda. Oluda. You spell his name Olaudah, Equiano. The interesting narrative of the life of y'all heard what I said. Olaudah, Equiano, or Gustavus Vasa. That was his other name, Gustavus Vasa, the African by himself. That's the title. The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Oluda Equiano, or Gustavus Vasa, the African by himself. Y'all need to be looking for that right now while I'm getting ready to go get into it, because, like I said, I would rather hear the voice of a slave themselves. Let me tell you some background on who this is. If you haven't heard already or ran across it, this brother was literally snatched from Africa, threw on the slave boats, and taken to Europe. So we have him and his peoples. So we have a real-life slave narrative going on. This is his book, and he's going to explain what he's seen, where he come from, and who his people are, and what customs his people had as compared to the other people. So in starting, I'm going to start this. If anybody fortunate enough to get that has the book right now, I'll tell you what page I'm about to turn to. I'm going to go to, let me see. Let me start at page 30. I want to start at page 30. I'm going to take a snippet out of every page. But, man, this book, I didn't even get a chance to read it all, because every time I got to getting into it, man, I mean, it was like I would have had to start all the way up from the beginning, because I just got it actually yesterday. I've been knew about it and got little snippets out of it, but this is the first time I was actually able to read some of the stuff out of it. Okay, and in this, he's talking about, bumping into the Europeans or whatever. And he says, let me see, this is page 30. Let me see. Okay, here we go. The first object which saluted my eyes when I arrived on the coast was the sea, and a slave ship, which was then riding at anchor and waiting for its cargo. These filled me with astonishment, which was soon converted into terror when I was carried on board. I was immediately handled and tossed up to see if I was sound by some of the crew, and I was now persuaded that I had gotten into a world of bad spirits, and that they were going to kill me. Their complexions, too, differing so much from ours, their long hair, and the language they spoke, which was very different from any I had ever heard. Now, pause 1 second right there. I just want to see something. So, I'm going to go back to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and see what the book of Deuteronomy says. He said verse 49. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flyeth. Yeah, that's funny too. America love them eagles. He passed through there and went on to Europe, so we're going to keep it rolling. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Okay, you can say, well, that ain't nothing, because, we know that happened to the Africans, and, whoever that book was written, the Bible was writing about, it could have happened to them also. Okay, we're going to see, because I ain't even hit the tip of the iceberg yet. Okay, I'm about to go to another excerpt from this brother's book. I'm going to go to page 35. Page 35. Oh, and it's real funny, too, because in his book, he said that when they first seen the Europeans, he got so scared, he thought they was going to eat him. Yeah, he literally said they'd eat him. So they thought that they was cannibals when they seen him. So, man, that's kind of wild, because he said he was going to send somebody with a fierce countenance, but dang on it, they thought he was going to eat him. That's serious. Okay, page 35. Here we go. All right, this is our brother, our ancestor, who came over here, snatched up on slave ships from Africa. And let's see what this brother say. Let me pick it up. Again, this is page 35. Page 35. The slave came. Okay, here we go. I apologize, y'all. I don't have no highlighter, so I got to really scan through it with my eyeballs. Okay, here we go. Okay. While I was in a plantation, the gentleman to whom I suppose the estate belonged, being unwell, I was one day sent for to his dwelling house to fan him. When I came into the room where he was, I was very much affrighted at some things I saw, and the more so as I had seen a black woman slave as I came through the house, who was cooking the dinner, and the poor creature was cruelly loaded with various kinds of iron machines. She had one particularly on her head which locked her mouth so fast that she could scarcely speak and could not eat nor drink. I was much astonished and shocked at the contrivance, which I afterwards learned was called the iron muzzle. Soon after, I had a fan put into my hand to fan the gentleman while he slept, and so I did indeed with great fear. While he was fast asleep, I unplugged myself a great deal in looking about the room, which to me appeared very fine and curious. The first object that engaged my attention was a watch which hung on the chimney and was going. I was quite surprised at the noise it made and was afraid and it went, and would tell the gentleman, let me see, go to the next page. See, the way it's set up on my computer, it got this little thing that separates each part. So I apologize for that. Okay, here we go. My bad. Right here, this is the part I was looking for. Now listen to this real close, y'all. I was a few weeks weeding grass and gathering stones in a plantation. And at last, all my companions were distributed different ways, and only myself was left. I was now exceedingly miserable, and thought myself worse off than any of the rest of my companions, for they could talk to each other, but I had no person to speak to that I could understand. In this state, I was constantly grieving and penning and wishing for the death rather than anything else. So the man say, man, he was so lonely because they had took everybody away from him that he started basically, wishing that he would just die. He wanted to get over with. You got to imagine how that could have felt as a slave. I mean, we got it bad, but that's terrible. So, again, if y'all got a mark in y'all book, stay in Deuteronomy chapter 28 for right now. I'm going to go right back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 66, and it reads, And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. So again, it's telling you that during these times, day and night, we wouldn't have no assurance of whether we live or die. And in particular times, you'd rather just kill yourself. So I know at first you're like, okay, well, he just nitpicking to find some stuff. Well, yeah, I'm just buttering you up for the big shebang that's about to come right now. Let's go right over to the next page. Now, this one right here, oh, man, I ain't even going to say too much. Let me just get to it. Page 36, man. This is amazing right here. Y'all got to go get this book, please. Okay, here we go. Listen, y'all. It says, in this state of anxiety, I remained till my master awoke. When I was dismissed out of the room, to my no small satisfaction and relief, for I thought that these people were all made up of wonders. In this place I was called Jacob, but on the board in the African snow I was called Mikha'EL. I had been some time in this miserable forlorn and much dejected state without having anyone to talk to, which made my life a burden. When the kind and unknown hand of the Creator, now began to appear to comfort me. Pause for 1 second. Now I want to read this to you real quick. This right here, I really want y'all to pay attention to this. I'm about to go to page 39. Page 39. Now, this is what's amazing, because they told us that the white man gave us the Bible, and that's all we hear. The white man gave you that Bible. Yeah, he had a Bible. He definitely had one, and we couldn't read English. So let's keep it real. We couldn't read English, but have you ever thought to yourself, what scared him so much about us learning or reading that book? Well, you got to ask yourself, for one, we know that book didn't come originally from Europe. You know, Council Lucia got together, they did their thing. But before that, you had the books. They were separate. You had the scrolls. Who wrote those books? So if the white man gave us that book, that means the white man should at least have some of the customs or tradition and culture that was in that book. And I'm about to show you why I said that. This is page 39, and this is what the brother Equiano says. Okay. It says, okay, here we go. My master, oh, no, here we go. My bad, y'all. Apologize. I'm kind of frank. Let me scoot up some. Scoot up. There we go. Okay. And from what I could understand of him, this guy, and seeing these white people did not sell one another as we did, I was much pleased. And in this, I thought they were much happier than we Africans. I was astonished at the wisdom of the white people and all the things I saw, but was amazed at their not sacrificing. Hold on, what? Yeah, y'all heard that. He was amazed that they did not sacrifice. So let's keep going. Or making any offerings. Okay. You're like, oh, well, already, pagan people did that too. All right, we're going to see. And eating with unwashed hands. Oh, man, this is getting creepy. And touching the dead. Oh, wow. Hold on. Slow down. Let me stop for a minute. Let me read that back to y'all, and then I'm going to show y'all where this come from. It said, but I was amazed at their not sacrificing or making any offerings and eating with unwashed hands and touching the dead. Then he goes on to say, I likewise could not help remarking the particular slenderness of their women, which I did not at first like, and I thought that their women were not so modest and shamefaced as our women. So they told us that our women was running around naked with their breasts hanging out. This tells us he looked at their women and said their women was not modest like our women was. Well, if you know anything about Hebrews, we always covered our women up. But let's pay attention to what he said about he was shocked when he did not see them sacrificing, making any offerings, unwashed hands, and touching the dead. Now, this right here is not something that the Europeans had in their customs. He's telling you that right now. The Europeans didn't have it. So now we got to see, where did he get this from? Where did he get this from? Now, we heard what they said about the little stuff that we heard about the Lemba tribe. I got some more stuff on that, too, that's going to tie into this. But let's see this. Here's the bada bing. Okay. Now, I'm rewinding everybody. That was page 39 I stopped on, and I did all that, and I'm going backwards to get to this one page right here. Page 29. And at page 29, this is literally about to just bust the bag wide open. Page 29, and this is what it reads. Now, at page 39, from 35 to 39 when I read, he was already had made it, off the slave boat, and he was in a foreign land. Now, here at page 29, this is the key. This is when he was still in Africa, before he got on the slave ships. I want y'all to hear this. This is while he was in Africa before he got on the slave ships. They had taken his tribe, and y'all can read this for yourself, page 29. They had taken his tribe, and they had took him amongst the other Africans. These were the Africans that captured his tribe. Now, I want y'all to hear that. So the Africans that captured his tribe, he was sojourning in their village, on a journey till they got to the coast where the boats would be with the Europeans. Now, watch this. Listen to what he say. I want y'all to really listen to this. Okay. Found myself. Okay, here we go. Bam, here we go. The language of these people resembled ours so nearly that we understood each other perfectly. They had also the very same customs as we. Now watch, listen to this. Now he was meeting up with the other tribes that they was bringing into slavery. But while they was bringing them into slavery, when they was going through the villages, you had the people who were enslaving them, which was some more African tribes. Now watch what he say. Same customs as we. There were likewise slaves daily to attend us, while my young master and I with other boys sported with our darts and bows and arrows, as I had been used to doing at home. In this resemblance to my former happy state, I passed about 2 months, and I now began to think I was to be adopted into this family. I was beginning to be reconciled in my situation and to forget my degrees, my misfortunes. When all at once the delusion vanished, for without the least previous knowledge, one morning early, while my dear master and companion was still asleep, I was wakened out of my reverie to fresh sorrow and hurried away even amongst the uncircumcised. I hope y'all caught that, amongst the uncircumcised. Now, this is one thing. Now, if you know anything about the tribes in Africa, circumcision is not a normal custom for those tribes. We know about the stuff we just went through this with Kemet, but we know what people circumcision has always been accustomed with. But I'm going to let the scriptures back up what he's saying, so hold on one second. I just got to finish reading this to y'all. Thus, at that very moment, I dreamed of the greatest happiness. I found myself most miserable, and it seemed as if fortune wished me to give me the taste of joy, only to render the reverse more potent. The change I now experienced was as painful as it was sudden and unexpected. It was a change indeed from a state of bliss to a scene which is impressive to me. And it discovered me an element I had never before beheld until then and had no idea of, wherein such instances of hardship and cruelty continually occurred as I can never reflect on it but with horror. Okay, here go another one. All the nations and people I had hither passed through resembled our own in their manners, customs, and language. But I came at length to a country, the inhabitants of which differed from us in all those particulars. I was very much struck with this difference, especially when I came among a people who did not circumcise. Do y'all hear this, people? This is an African slave. These is his tribes. These are all the tribes that gather them together. All the tribes that these native Hamite Africans gathered up which they considered to be their enemies. It had nothing to do with color. One reason you could tell Hebrew tribes is because of their customs. They kept them, and they stayed separated. So you got all these tribes together. And while they're doing that, they starting to come across, the native African tribes. And this is what he's noticing. Now listen, especially when I came among a people who did not circumcise. This was shocking to him because this is what they did, circumcisions. And ate without washing their hands. There we go again. They cooked also in iron pots and had European cutlasses and crossbows, which were unknown to us. And they fought with their fists amongst themselves, and their women was not so modest as ours, for they ate and drank and slept with the men. But above all, I was amazed to see no sacrifices or offerings among them. In some of those places, the people ornamented themselves with scars, and likewise filed their teeth very sharp. They wanted sometimes to ornament me in the same manner, but I would not let them. People, did y'all just hear this? If you know anything about the ancient Hebrew Israelites, in our scriptures, for one, they said they were scarring themselves. It is illegal, according to the Most High God, to tattoo or mutilate your skin. But the African Hamite nations done this, and they still do it today. He also said he didn't see no offerings, so they still keeping sacrifices. And what's funny, you still have the tribes over there, the Hebrew tribes in Africa, doing sacrifices to this day. That they don't accept the Messiah. Some of them don't believe in the New Testament. Now, here's another thing he said. Okay, he said he was amazed at no sacrifices. We know he already brought up circumcision, and in some of the places, and this the thing. He also said that they had European crossbows. Where did these Africans get the European crossbows? Now, we see that these African people are not the same as the African people being taken into slavery. You see the differences. Their customs and language was nothing the same. What he was tripping off of, and where did they get these weapons? Because it's like the scriptures going to tell us, and what we've been saying, the native African Hamites, and this is not hate on them or nothing, because anybody serve the God of Israel is cool. But it happened, and we cannot deny it. They worked with the European, and so it wasn't the random tribes. They sold their own people like they taught us in school. No, they sold the different people. They sold the bywords. They sold the people that were from the tribes that come from what you call the Middle East, who had been sojourning in their land. And they with these strange customs, sacrificing their women all covered up while their women was running around with their breasts hanging out and all that type of stuff. And they had little leaves over their man onions. No, we didn't do that. So we was obvious who the Hebrews was. This is from a slave, people. This is not something that I made up. So let's go see all the things that he just named, and let's see where this came from. Because they tell us the white man gave us the Bible, as if they're saying the white man gave us morals. Where did this come from, and how did this, quote-unquote, these African tribes, your ancestors, that came over here to the Americas and went into Europe and the Caribbean, because it wasn't just him. If we're going to show that, too, he got stuff in here. We're talking about all other tribes that he encountered that were like his tribes that went to different parts of the world. So let's see. Let's go to Genesis chapter 17. We're going to see where in the world could Equiano had got this stuff from. We know they didn't have no King James Bible over there. So it had to have been orally passed down. Sounds like 70 AD sack of Jerusalem. It's really starting to make a lot of sense. So I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 17, and I'm going to pick it up in verse 10. Genesis 17 and verse 10, and it says, "This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant between me and you." So our brother Equiano had the covenant. He had the token. And it was passed down from his tribe generation and generation and generation before they even came over here to the West to see a King James Bible. Why? Because his ancestors were the one who originally wrote it. This is the point we're trying to get across. Let's bring up some other things Equiano said blew his mind back. When he seen, and you notice, he didn't just talk about the Europeans. That's why I rewinded it and took it back to Africa for y'all. He was tripping off the African tribes he seen that didn't do what he do. Now, you would ask yourself, if he in Africa, how is it that he didn't notice these other tribes cut their skin up, didn't circumcise themselves? Because, see, they ran around naked, so it wouldn't be hard to see it. You know what I'm saying? That they women wasn't modest because the Hebrews always isolated themselves. That's what made them a target. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. Let's see where else Brother Equiano could have got this stuff from. Come on now. We giving the white man a little too much credit now. Leviticus chapter 19. Oh, man, Sal, calm me down, brother. I need a little lion roar so I can calm down a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you so much, brother. Now I'm feeling a little more civilized because I was about to jump out the building. Because I'm telling you, it's a spiritual thing to just read one of your ancestors. And then I found out this is not the only one. They got plenty slave narratives out there, but this is the only one that is this big and detailed that I've came across. And, okay, y'all, Leviticus chapter, I won't keep you waiting. Leviticus chapter 19. And Leviticus chapter 19, and we're going to pick it up at verse, I'm just going to read it, verse 28, Leviticus 19 and 28. It says, wrong one, my bad, Leviticus 19 and 28, here we go. And it reads, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. So there's another thing that Equiano and his tribe and his people were used to. They did not cut, modify their skin, and they did not, they didn't modify their skin, none of that type of stuff. So you got to ask yourself, if the white man didn't bring the King James Version Bible, his people would have still been keeping the customs and the books of Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and so far Genesis we've read. Now you got to ask yourself, this is not a coincidence. And again, if you can't find a massive Jewish European invasion into Africa where they forced Judaism on people by the sword, then the only answer is left is them got to be the real Jews. They got to be. Because for one, if you know anything about the Jewish people, they don't offer their religion to nobody because they consider it sacred. It's not like Islam and Christianity where they try to force you like that. Not the Jewish people. Now, back when it was the real Israelites, Jews, us, yeah, we made some people, convert to the lifestyle when we went through. It's happened. But they don't do that. And they never invaded Africa. So, it's only one conclusion left. Them the real Israelites. Oh, I ain't through with Equiano. I got one more, too. When I went to verse 39, I don't know if y'all caught it, because I was kind of frantic, so I was shooting through it. But he brought up how the touching of dead bodies. That's another thing. Equiano said that, they could not touch dead bodies where he come from. They could not touch dead bodies where they come from. This was on page 39. So y'all think I'm making this up too. But I'm going to try to keep it on time constraint so I can get into some more of these scriptures. So in verse 39, he also brought up the fact of touching dead bodies. So since we're here, let's see where the touching the dead bodies come from. Now these type of customs are, you could say one or two of them other nations had, but when you put them together, these are exclusive to the children of Israel, y'all. Let's stop playing games with yourself. because we was called strange for some of it. We the only people that tell you don't go around touching dead bodies because you would be unclean for a certain amount of time. Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 11, and it reads, neither shall he go in to any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or for his mother. So it don't matter who died. You ain't supposed to go touch the dead body, especially if you going to like a holy gathering, Passover, something like that. But even if you did touch them, you were unclean for a certain amount of time. You weren't going to the lake of fire for it or hell or nothing like that, but you would just be considered unclean. This is a form of quarantine. The Most High has a science to this thing. So, and that's in page 39 where he talks about touching the dead bodies too. So, okay. Now, there goes that, a little bit of the Equiano thing. So, again, I want y'all, whenever y'all get a chance, all viewing audience, please go get that book. I'm going to say the name for you one last time, and we about to move on and continue. The interesting narrative of the life of, Oladu Equiano. I don't know why I say his name good when I'm not on air. Oladu Equiano, or Gustavus Vasa, the African himself. So just put in the interesting narrative of Oladu Equiano, and you will have it right there. Okay, so let me continue. So now that we know that all Africans ain't the same people like they was trying to teach us, which absolutely made no sense, because you never hear these same people say all Europeans are the same people. Or all Orientals are the same, or all Asians are the same people. They're diced up into sections. And I don't know what makes you think that we weren't the same way. Yeah, at some point, in the beginning, we did all come from like the same family. We know that. But further down the line, the Most High started to separate the nations. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of them. I don't preach I hate the other nations and all that type of stuff. I hate wicked people. You know what I'm saying? You could be a wicked Gentile white person, wicked Edomite, the one who called himself Jewish over there, and they got the Ashkenazis and Khazars, them Gentiles. You could be a wicked Arab Ishmaelite. You could be a wicked Hamite. You could be a wicked Israelite. Wicked is wicked. Righteous is righteous. So that's just how I look at that. We under the white man's foot right now. We're gonna talk about that too. But let's get into some more specifics. Okay. So we left last thing, like I said, keep your marker in Deuteronomy, because I really want to pay attention to it and get some clarity on it, because a lot of people preach it, but I don't think they clarify it all the time. So let's see, how is it that this thing even takes place? I want to read Psalms chapter 83, just to let you know that it's like it's a big mystery to us. Oh, hold on. Matter of fact, before I go to Psalms 83, I also want to read something here, too. So if you're wondering how a lot of these same Israelites winded up where they were at, I want to read a little page from Babylon and Timbuktu, and this is page 81. And it says, taken with sacrifices wherever Judaism is acknowledged. You heard that? Taken with sacrifices wherever Judaism is acknowledged. Equiano, his tribe, all dealt with sacrifices. Let's keep going. That must have been introduced by Yemenite or Himyarite Jewish traders in the very ancient times. Now listen to this. Concerning the Wasamba people along the east coast of Africa opposite the island of Zanzibar, we know very little. But it is known fact among the scholars that the Jewish merchants from Yemen traded along that coast. Now listen to this. It is possible that the Jewish colonies were established there at an early date. It is also a probability that Jewish tribes migrated from the north. I have shown previously that the Jewish immigrants crossed the Red Sea into Ethiopia, and that Jewish immigrants migrated from Egypt to Ethiopia. My conclusion is this. The nation of Ethiopia has become a confluence of crossroad of a wave of Hebrew culture and settlements. Here in Ethiopia was the great center of the black Jews. They exchanged ideas. Some settled down to stay, and others departed to the west and south. So, some of them departed, and you hear him talking about the trading and stuff. You notice he's not talking about no Europeans. He's talking about these black Jews. Their tribes migrated into Africa, and some went west. Where did we get picked up from? The west coast of Africa. Where did Equiano wind up going? The west coast of Africa. Come on now. Got a little bit more for you now. Also, it lets us know, if you go looking up these tribes, the Falasa, the Lemba, the Yoruba, the Igbo, I know I'm forgetting like about 10 of them. I used to know a lot of them, but just look up the tribes and look up African Jews or Jews of Africa, and it'll tell you, like dealing with even the Lemba tribe, it say, some Jewish communities in Africa are among the oldest in the world. Oldest in the world. That's older than the ones that's in Europe, because they faking. Dating back more than 2,700 years ago, African Jews have religious diversity and richness. Now, the reason it's key that he says religious diversity, because this lets you know that Jew in itself is not a religion. And then you see in Babylon the 10 book 2, it said the tribes. So what is it telling you? That you can be a Jew, because that's just one tribe, Judah, or you can be an Ephraimite, or you can be I can go on and on. You could be a Benjamite. You could be a Levite. You know, you could be Naphtali, the whole nine, right? But your religion can be diverse. You can be a Muslim and be an Israelite. This is the point. This is bloodline, people. We are those people. Okay. Let me get back to the book. Let me see how much time we got. Oh, we at 8:30 now. Woo, I've been going. Man, Si, you've been letting me go on the road. Okay. Now, let me read, let me see. I'm going to go to...
Oh, that's to let you know, brother. Just to let you know, brother, you got questions standing by, too, man. So whenever you're ready, man, let me know. People standing by with the questions.
Okay, cool. Okay, I ain't gonna be that much. So I got so much stuff, though, man. Man, on the real. That's why I say I might have to do a part 2 or something. But I got some stuff, man. But, okay, so... we see that the most now keep in mind, I don't want y'all to just get lost with the history, but I wanted to just bring some things that I don't want it to just be circumstantial evidence or coincidental evidence, as they like to say. I want to put some type of proof, or at least inkling of something in your mind to say, that is kind of strange, because nobody forced this lifestyle on us. So where in the world did we get it from? It's the fact that we already had it, you know. Okay, so I want to go to Psalms chapter 83. No, I said I was going there. I got the jabbing. Psalms 83. And we get to Psalms 83, I'm going to show you how these nations, see, this is one of their biggest goals, is to keep the quote-unquote African-American, Caribbean, all that, to keep them, you know, not knowing that they're the Israelites. Because, for one, it's a lot of stake in the world by them coming out and just admitting, man, them ain't no African-Americans, man. Them Hebrew Israelites. Them the real ones. That means them Zionists over there in Israel got to go. Why do y'all think them Israelites, Ben Amin and them from the kingdom of Yahweh, kingdom of God, from here, from my city in Chicago, how they was able to get over there like that? It wasn't easy, but you know how they got in there? See, it's stuff that people don't know. The Israeli government is set up, right? It has this form of like a constitution like the United States. But them being based off of a religious text, as you would put it, and they have to have claim to the land. So in order to do so, the things that are in the scriptures have to line up with what they had their government set up on. The reason that the Israelites from America, I want y'all to hear this now. I'm not making this up. I actually, you know, got friends over there, whatever. The Israelites from America, one of the reasons they were not able to be totally denied, even though they said about a nuclear power plant over in Dimona, one reason that they were not able to be totally denied is because they could prove their heritage. And it's because the ruling governments over there in Israel, the one who calls himself Jewish, if you notice he don't say Judah, Israeli and not Israelite, is because they know that those are the real Israelites. So they couldn't just straight shut them out like that, because they had to have some type of fear of the Most High, just a little bit. It ain't that much. So that's why. And all that did was opened up floodgates for all the Israelite tribes in Africa, like the Falashas and the Ebus and stuff like that. But they don't want to let them in. Yeah, a lot of them has gotten in there, but then they set up a law that you got to serve 2 years in their military just to get citizenship. See, the thing is, the gig is up. The gig is up, man. The jig is up because it's the cat out the bag. And they know the more the cat is coming out the bag, everybody going to look at them and say, well, if these are Israelites, who in the world is y'all? Uh-oh, it's going to get ugly. Okay, let me read this, and then we're going to start getting ready to open up some lines, because I ain't even really got into all the scriptures that I want to. But on that note, Psalms chapter 83, I wanted to read this, and this will tell you why. Start at verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Listen to this. It say that the other nations have taken crafty counsel against the Israelites, and they did this to the hidden ones. Well, are we the hidden ones? Yeah, we've been hidden. Then nobody act like they don't know who we are. We know they know, but you don't know who you are. They took crafty counsel. And this is what's deep. You notice he didn't just say the Gentiles or the Edomites or nothing like that. He said, he talking about the enemy. He said these are the nations, man. And we just read that the Africans sold us to or the Hamites sold us to the Europeans. And it was the Arabs that taught the Africans how to do it. The nations. We get it from all ends. It ain't about color. That's the point I'm trying to make. I also want to get into this. So this the thing. If we recognize that we are the Israelites, one thing I know for a fact that we need to do is see how to get ourselves about this situation and reverse it. And one of those things we can do to reverse it, but the main thing is we got to go back to keeping them same laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High told us to keep. That's the bottom line. That's the entire reason that we over here in the first place. We can look at, I'm going to point out a couple of ramifications, and then I'm going to let Brother Sal start opening up the microphones. Okay, let's look at some of the things that just changed out some more proof, rather, that we the same people that he's talking to. Let's go to Isaiah chapter, I want to go to Isaiah chapter 51. Isaiah chapter 51. About to read Isaiah chapter 51. See what the Most High said. Now, this after the slavery part. See what condition we're going to be in after that. Okay. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 20. And it says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord and rebuke of thy God. Now, hold on now. It said thy sons have fainted. When you look at that word fainted, it also means to gave up or quit. It says they lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord. Hold on, y'all. What's the head of all the streets? That's the corner. Who's standing on the corners angry like a wild bull? That's gang banging, drug dealing. That's us. He said your sons. And then it said they fainted. How many times you hear them brothers out there like, man, I don't even care if I live no more, man. They're going to have to kill me. They got their gun and all that. This is what he's talking about. This don't fit the Jewish cat. You don't see no Jewish dudes out there with no yarmulkes on the corner set tripping. Come on, man. It's time for us to wake up. Let's go to another one and see. So let's see what the result is of our brothers being full of the fury of the Lord, angry on a corner like wild bulls in a net. That's what the scriptures say. We're going to bag up and go to Isaiah chapter 42. Isaiah chapter 42 and see what he say. These all identifying the Israelites in the future. So let's look at this. Isaiah chapter 42. Isaiah 42, and I'm going to read Isaiah 42 and verse 22. And it says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore." Hold on. It said they are snared in holes, meaning traps. It's just traps set up for us everywhere we go. They just coming up with ways to lock black people up. And they are hid in prison houses. Last time I checked, we supposed to be around 14-15% of the United States population. But we somewhere around 75 to 80% of the penal institution. Prison houses, jails. Go look in them. We the majority of the people in the jails. Goes back to everything that he been saying. These are all repercussions from us breaking the law. It started with the slavery. Then after we got out of chattel slavery, we just got into almost a worse condition. But the killer part is we don't even pay it no attention. Even our morality has fell off. It's terrible. Everything is in this book. It talk about the fatherless child. It talk about single mothers. It talk about everything. All the answers is in this book. And I got them lined up, but I know we ain't probably got too much longer. So let me read this. Now, we synced Isaiah. We synced where the brothers at. Oh, sisters, you don't escape the prophecies either. They got you in there too. So I want to read something else. Okay, let me read. Let's see one of the things that can help reverse this, right? But we gonna see what it look like when you look outside your window compared to what the Most High said. This the whole key. Now we identify who we are. Now what we gonna do about it? Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17. I'm gonna read this. It say, this him talking to us now. "There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel." Man, now hold on. If we the Israelites, we definitely not meeting these qualifications. And if you notice, he just said don't let it be a whore out of the daughters of the Israelites. Now, you notice when Equiano spoke, he said his women was modest. These the same people. What did happen from that time to this time? You look, all you see is Nicki Minaj booty, but that's all you see. That's the new beauty for the black woman now, for the Israelite woman. It ain't modesty. It's hoardism. And then what it say after that? No sodomite amongst the sons of Israel. Man, I'm talking about homosexuality has gotten ridiculous. It's gotten to the point where you got brothers walking around here with the super skinny jeans spirit, with pink hair, and all type of stuff. And I ain't just off the outer appearance, but I'm talking about they sleeping with men. They making rap songs now about it. And it's just becoming normal. And if you say something about it, it's a problem. This is a stink in the Most High's nose. This will not get us out this position. This will not. Not only that, at least if you notice here, he talked about how he don't like, you know what I'm saying, a whore out of the daughters of Israel. But when you even go into the New Testament, it didn't get worse than that. You see, go to Romans. Romans chapter 1. Romans chapter 1. It ain't got, now see, this is what's funny. Way back then, yeah, you heard of the sodomites, men sleeping with men. But you didn't really, I guess it wasn't too common with the sisters like that. But by the time you get to the New Testament, it didn't start happening. Romans chapter 1, verse 26, and this is what it reads. For this cause God gave them unto a vile affection, for even that women did change the natural use into that which is against nature, lesbianism. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error. Now, these are things that some people think, well, that ain't my business. It don't bother me. It is bothering you. That's one reason we not getting out this condition. We got to start by teaching our children right, man, to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is exactly why we over here in slavery trying to figure out who we are now. So I was reading this. I got a lot more stuff, but I know there's readers on the line. And, let me read this one more, Sal, and then you can open up. Because this the key. I don't want to make this just – I brought some educational stuff that could be edifying. I brought the spiritual aspect to let you know who's in control of this and why it all happened. And then I'm also want to bring, the cure. The cure to get us up out this jam. Because we in a jam, Israel. We in a jam. You're going to know you Israel before you get off this phone. Ezekiel, I'm about to go to Ezekiel chapter 33. Ezekiel chapter 33, because this is really like a key thing that I want y'all to know, that I'm not trying to, make it seem like this some type of bashing type thing or something like that. So Ezekiel chapter 33, and I'm going to pick it up at Ezekiel 33 and verse 6. I'm going to pick it up at Ezekiel 33 and verse 6, because this is the key right here. This is why I went through this, because I don't want nobody to get the wrong impression or anything like that. Ezekiel 33 and verse 6. And it reads, but if the watchman see the sword come, that's what I'm being, a watchman. That's what we all supposed to be when we learn better, do better. We know who we are. So we got to teach the people, and we got to tell them what to do to get up out this jam. And blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come, and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So he telling me, he telling all y'all brothers, you Israelites who know the truth, who know why we in this condition, if you see people doing stuff that's offending the Most High, that got us over here, and you don't warn them, and that sword come, meaning death, and the Lord kill them, and you had a chance to warn them, not only is they going to die in their sin and be in trouble, but you not blood on your hands, because they didn't have to accept it. They could have rejected it, but the fact is you didn't open your mouth. So I want to continue. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee as a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. You hear that? Warn them from the Most High. Because no matter whatever nation doing this to us, don't look at the bat. Look at the person swinging the bat, and that's the Most High. We got to get in good grace with him, y'all. Verse 9, nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So if you tell somebody something, telling them about this truth like I'm doing right now, I know somebody going to probably get on here that disagree, and they going to say, man, I ain't trying to buy that. And they go into their ways doing adverse to what the book tell us. Guess what? It said I delivered my soul, but they still in trouble. So you don't got to preach, beat them down about it. Just mention it and then leave it alone. Verse 11, say unto them as I live, saith the Lord God. This is what God's saying. I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Israel? And I just like to say to everybody, one of the meanings for the word Hebrew is to cross over. So guess what? Even if you don't want to claim you a Hebrew, you still a Hebrew because you crossed over the transatlantic sea. You crossed over the transatlantic during that slave trade and that boat ride. So guess what? God made you a Hebrew whether you like it or not. And with that, I say I love y'all. Shalom, shalom. Anybody got some questions?
All right, Mikha'EL, just to let you know, we still got more time. We got like an hour and 9 minutes left. You know, we just have people staying about with questions. So we're going to get into some more of the information that you want to bring out. But once again, guys.
Cool, because I got a lot. Yeah, I got some more. I got some more I want to kick, too.
All right, cool, because we got people standing by. So we're going to take a few questions right now, and we're going to take some more later on. But once again, the number is 646-716-7320. This is the time when you call in with your questions and your comments. I see people already pressing number one. We're going to get to you guys. But for those people that are new to the show, the number one rule is there's no foul language, guys. No foul language. Call in, keep it clean, and, of course, do the high volume of callers. Keep your questions brief. So let's go to the first person. Let's go to 252-883. You're live in air.
Peace, Brother Sal. This is Raheem, representing New York. Assalamu alaikum to Brother Mikha'EL.
Salam, Raheem. I ain't heard from you for a minute. How you been doing, bro?
Everything's going good, Akis. I listened to the show. There's only a couple of things I disagree with you with, but basically you hit it on the head. And me as a Muslim, I can say that the Bible is not, I don't call them white because they're not white, first of all. Right. It's not the book of the Caucasians or European Caucasians.
Right.
People must understand what we have is translations, and they have changed things in these translations, and it's many translations. A lot of people are into the King James, and it has Masonic codes in it and so forth, and I can point them out as clear as day. But when you're talking about translation of the Bible, that's one thing that they were in control of, and we know that from King James and Wycliffe and all those characters. That's one of the reasons why they didn't want us to read, so we can go back and figure out who we really were.
Right.
Another thing that I have a lot of academic studies on is that Muslims were also brought over here. Like scholars say 30 to 50% of them were Muslims. And one of the books that's prominent is The Prince Among Slaves.
Yeah, I know about that book. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then I have straight up documents with the Arabic and so forth that they were writing, just like you said, that brother was writing about, detail. This brother, Rahman, he was writing in detail because he was taken from the shores of Africa as a Muslim and brought over. One of the key things you said was that Africans helped the Caucasians bring us over here. And I keep getting flack about Arabs did this and Arabs did that. And a lot of people don't know who the real Arabs were. The real Arabs were African and dark.
Right.
And and people need to understand Arabia is part of Africa. You get what I'm saying? I want to read two documents from top scholars. One from Dr. Henry Clark. I'm sure you know of him.
Of course.
And, yeah, of course.
Thank God.
You know what I'm saying? And Charles Finch. I want to, because these people also try to take away Arabia from Africa when Arabia is just northeast Africa, and Africa itself is all one. Dr. Charles Finch says, it has been customary to separate the northeast from Africa, culturally, though in the light of increasing Neolithic evidence, it is perhaps more nearly correct to consider the land between Khartoum in the south and the Tigris and Euphrates in the north. As constitution, one broad horizon in the period of 10,000 and 5,000 BC. This broad horizon was composed substantially of Saharo-Neolithic ethno-cultural elements. It is certainly true that what is known as the Near East is more properly, though, thought Africa's northeast extension. Because of geological and geographic, that is fact what it is. And then Dr. Clark says, Western historians, and we know they Caucasians, who try to separate Northeast Africa from Western Asia, forget that there was a period in history when Northeast Africa, Western Asia were a part of the same geographic and for part of the same cultural system. And I got many more.
There you go.
So we know that this land, and it didn't have no political map or cartography or whatever. You get what I'm saying? What we have today. And so we know from the historians, our people, I just read 2 African descent people, you know what I'm saying this, and I have more, you know, it's one, you get what I'm saying? So that's basically, you know, where I was at. One other thing.
Basically agreed on most of the stuff, because like I said, a lot of us, when we came over here, we were Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know, now me and you, we can have us a sit down one day and Sal hook it up, and we could talk about the legitimacy of the King James Version. And we know who all attempted to do what. You know what I'm saying? You already know. We can get that in right here because I respect your scholarship. But for the most part, you see what I see, though. You see what I see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, maybe we could do that. Me and you do a class, because I was going to say something, and I'll save it for the class, and I won't put out what I disagree with you about. We can look that up. No problem with me. I ain't going to even say no more.
Hey, holler inside. We can build.
Okay, cool. That is. Yeah, you know, to let people know that we all got to look at Shem. We got to look at Noah and what they produced out of it, and we all the same. We basically got the same statues and so forth, and, you know, we got to show people that we can sit down and have a decent conversation like I did with Josh. We had to, you know, sit down, though I've debated him. Well, we had to sit down, and Josh be saying some stuff I agree with, and some stuff he say I don't, but most of the stuff I agree with him. So with that, I'll catch up with Sal, and then we can really get something going, because then people be like, oh, whoa, because I got some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, don't even trip, because I done dug in the Vatican myself, man. We can go ahead and put it together.
Yeah.
Salam alaikum, Marquis.
All right, wa alaikum salam. Peace, Sal.
All right, man. Definitely reach out to me so we can set that up, bro. You know how the schedule is, man. Right now we're into March already, man, with the schedule. So as soon as possible, hit me up, and we can set things up as far as another show. But once again, guys, it's your time. The number is 646-716-7320. We have a lot more questions, so let's go to the people. That's what it's all about, the people getting answers to their questions. Let's go to 708-979. You're live on air.
Yo, what up, Mikha'EL? This Alvin, bro.
Ah, man, salam, brother Alvin. What's up with you, my brother? How you doing, Israel?
Good info, man.
My bad, bro. I forgot to greet you accordingly. Shabbat shalom. Happy Sabbath to all the Sabbath keepers.
Oh, thanks, bro. Shabbat shalom. Hey, man, good information, man. I just wanted to piggyback off some of the stuff you said. As far as the connection with Israel and Ethiopia, people just ignore the fact about the temple of Yeha in Ethiopia, that people date, the conservative date would be 400 BC, but some scholars say it could be as old as 700 BC. And that's a direct Hebrew presence in Ethiopia before any kind of slavery, even before the first century. And then when you go in that temple, you actually see, because it was a Sabaean town, you see Sabaean language in there, and you see Hebrew mixed with the Sabaean. You know, and
to feed off what you saying, what people hate to pay attention. Well, I guess they try maybe they ignorant of it, but what a lot of people don't know, whenever they throw in your face, like even dealing with the New Testament, they'll say, well, man, maybe the Torah, maybe the Tanakh, but especially the New Testament, and I know everybody don't subscribe to it, but as a whole, they would say, well, you have to get that. Do they not know that the oldest Orthodox Judeo-Christian church is where, brother? Ethiopia is older than anyone in Europe. That's crazy.
It's the oldest.
It's the oldest, and we know that Israelites went over to Europe. We can see that in the New Testament. But you got to remember, it was Israelites, after they went to the Gentiles, it was Israelites that were already in Ethiopia. What you think they were doing over there? Building temples.
And look at this. Here's the thing about the white folk. They knew who we were, and I got evidence. You need to look up William Hodgins in Savannah, Georgia. William Hodgins.
He's down there in Savannah, Georgia. This around the 1800s.
Okay.
He was going around noticing these slaves writing in Shemitic languages.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They told him he couldn't do no research on them no more.
Wow.
They stopped him from researching them. He's like, man, because the thing was, hey, these are monkeys. These are subhumans. They don't have intelligence to have a writing system. And William Hodges was doing it. He was interviewing these slaves, and he was seeing they had writings. And here's the evidence. There's this church, the oldest church in America, oldest black church, in Savannah, Georgia. They got Shemitic writings on the pews, bro. I'm actually doing a documentary on this, man. You go on these pews, and I had all type of scholars look at them. There's Ethiopian writing on it. There's Hebrew writing on it. Now, these slaves weren't going to Oxford? They weren't allowed to. You know what I'm saying? Where did they have the information to write this stuff down? And then these were the slaves William Hodges were interviewing, and they said he had to stop interviewing them. They cut it off. So this whole thing of saying, hey, the white man gave us that book, come on, man. It's like, that's the white man trick. To me, that's the white man trick right there, to make you believe that's his book.
Right. And what's funny about it, to be honest with you, the way things going, they going to have to come with a new lie, because the white man's book and all that is outdated. It's already been blew up, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So that ain't going to have to come up with something else, because now we know that the most selling book on the planet, yes, it has been used for evil, but anything with this much power can be used for good or evil. That's what you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Books didn't have power.
Yeah,
If you didn't have no power, you couldn't use it, but it was written by us, our ancestors.
And I got one last thing, man. A lot of Deuteronomy 28, they always go to 28:68, but to me, 28:49 is the most telling verse, because it says, and Yah shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth. Egypt is not from the end of the earth of Israel.
Right.
Okay? Right. As swift as an eagle, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Okay?
And you heard what Equiano said. He said he could not understand their language. You know what I'm saying?
And then he's saying this is a nation neither you or your fathers know of. Now, see, people try to say, oh, well, this is just talking about Egypt. No, we was in Egypt for 400 years. Why wouldn't we know about Egypt? And then they try to say we was from Babylon. Babylon right next door. You can look in the Bible. Right. We fell to them and started worshiping them gods. This cannot be Egypt or Babylon, because neither one of them.
And before they try to add this one, and it couldn't be Assyria either.
No,
they wasn't from the ends of the earth. You know what I'm saying? So they got to really just
know and we know the Assyrian language. This is a person from afar. Now the eagle. Now this is how they try to flip it up with the eagle thing. They say, well, that's not really an eagle. That's really a vulture. But see, I looked up that word for eagle, and it's nashur. And we're going to see what kind of animal it is, because when you go to Job 9:26, it says, they are passed away as the swift ships, as an eagle. Hold on, my bad. That one. My bad. Job 39:27. It says, doth the eagle mount up at the command and make her nest on high? Eagles put their nests in the mountains. So this word is not talking about a vulture. It means an eagle. Vultures don't nest up in the mountains. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So this is saying an eagle. Like, come on, man. But I'm done, man. But good info, bro.
Man, thanks for calling in, man. I'll holler at you later. Maybe we could do a Google Hangout tonight or something, man. Kick some clips.
Yeah. Hit me on the Hangout, man.
All right, brother. Shalom.
All right, this is your time, guys. We're going to go to the people right now. We'll get some more questions and comments. Again, that number is 646-716-7320. Simply press the number 1, and we can add you into the conversation. The title of this show, The Gig Is Up, True Israelites Revealed. My special guest is Mikha'EL, Ben Yisrael. Again, the number is 646-716-7320. And by the way, the show is archived. For those that are new to the show, it's archived. You can always go back and check it out. If you missed any part of the show, go to www.blogtalkradio.com/debatetalkforyou. And I have actually the links in the description box to the iTunes podcast, as well as Mikha'EL's Facebook page, Blog Talk Radio Show, and his email. Well, let's go to the next person. Let's go to 425-737. You're live on air.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. What's up, Mikha'EL? This is Brother James. We had a good bill the other day about Edom. That other night, man, I just want to say to you.
Shabbat Shalom. I was wondering where you went, man. You ain't shoot me no friend request. That was a good bill.
Yeah, it was, brother. Yeah, it was. I just wanted to tell you, man, thanks a lot for this one. Praise to the Most High for this one right here. Because a lot of people don't go into the details and really explain to the people the history, the biblical prophecy, and different things like that that lets us know exactly who we are, brother. And I just wanted to let you know. Thank you for that, bro.
And all praises to the Most High, brother, and thank you for your time on this Sabbath, man. I know you could be listening. You know, I don't do things on lessons on the Sabbath. I leave that for the elders, you know. But this one called out, and I had to do it, man, because it's time for us to wake up, man. We are them people, and we got to get on our job.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go to the next person. Let's go to 510-689. You're live on air. 510-689. You're live on the Debate Talk Radio. Heard the echo.
Hello.
Yeah, how you doing? You're live on air. How are you? Let's do me a favor. Lower your speaker now. Lower your speaker now.
Okay, I just turned it off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. That. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just turned it off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to say thank you for the show. It's really good. I mean, especially because for a lot of us, because we are living under the punishments or the curses, when we get this information, it can be life-changing. And that's what it was for me. You understand what I'm saying? It's like when you can literally go through when you go through the punishments that are listed in Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26, and you can literally see people that you know from your own family or who live next door or across the street and see it playing out in our lives, that is proof positive as to who we are.
Yeah.
And it can. I have a hard time sometimes expressing this, but it can be an impetus to make changes, because that's what happened for me. I mean, I was living a completely different life, living in what I just sometimes call darkness and strong delusion. And when I found out this information, I just started making changes in my life, and it's just really good. And the last fellow that spoke, he shared, a verse from Deuteronomy 28 that was just like key for him. But another one in Deuteronomy 28 in terms of just historically, because when you know who the people are, then you can literally lay some of the prophecies in the Bible next to U.S. history and world history, and you can see where some of those prophecies have been fulfilled. But if people continue believing that the Ashkenazim are the Hebrew Israelites, then a lot of the prophecies, they just don't make any sense, because they do not line up with world history or with, for us here in the United States, the tribe of Judah, it doesn't line up with U.S. history, with our history as we know it. But if you look at Deuteronomy chapter 26, or chapter 28, verse 26, one of the punishments, it says, "And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away." And we know that in U.S. history, there was a period in the late 1800s when the lynchings in the South were so bad that Billie Holiday wrote a song, "Strange Fruit," speaking about just the odor of these dead bodies that were left dangling in the trees to put fear in us to see the body, and as a warning to us and to anyone else. Now that is, and we know that is something that is still happening today, in the sense that there was a young brother that was killed in Texas and dragged behind a truck. I'm going to say maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, and there was a civil rights group that went down to Texas to interview some of the people, and they took them to the part of the road where his body was dragged, and they found part of his hand on the side of the road. I mean, the people who retrieved his body, they didn't even care enough to do a thorough search of the area to find all of his remains,
Wow.
And it's just things like that when you can literally just line them up. And it's something that this truth as to who we are, it just rang. It just emanated with me when I found it out. And I've been doing, like you, I've been doing a lot of research. And I'm not, I don't know if I'd ever be able to go on the air or anything, but I would like to write a book, because that's something that I think that the Almighty is going to use a lot of us in those ways, because a lot of us were on paths that were pretty worldly. And what I mean by that, not in a bad way, but what I mean is in school, a lot of us have, studied political science, have studied research, have studied the law, have studied sociology, and so we've gained skills in those areas. We know how to do research. We know how to write papers. We know how to present information in forums that can be acknowledged. And so I've done a lot of research on some of these statistics, like what you were talking about in terms of being trapped in snares or hidden in prison houses, and the statistics on that. And we know when we go into any prison in the United States, you're not going to find a lot of Jewish or Ashkenazim inmates, but you are going to find a lot of African American and Hispanic inmates, and that's any prison. And another scripture that I wanted to share, and I would like to get your opinion on this, and then I have a question for you. But the scripture that I wanted to share, the first one is in Romans chapter 11, and it's verse 12. And the reason I'm sharing this one is because when I started sharing with people who we are, one of the comebacks that a lot of like black folk and white folk would give me is, well, that could be true, but for all you know, it could only be, 50 Hebrews that was taken over on the boats, and the rest could have been Hamites that were brought over and shackled and worked in the cotton fields. You can't say that every single person on a slave ship was a Hebrew. You can't say that. But if you look in chapter 11, verse 12, it says, now if the fall of them, meaning the house of Jacob, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? And the reason that's so important is because it was important that these Gentile nations that began to take part in this slave trade, they needed to make sure that they got Hebrews, Israelites, on the boats because of this. They were not going to get riches and power by enslaving Hamites. The riches and the wealth came to them by enslaving us. And a book that you might be interested in reading, it's called The Hebrewisms of West Africa.
Yep, already.
Okay, there's a part in there where I believe it's that book. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's in that book where it speaks about a Jewish sailor on a slave ship who found this, what they quote-unquote African boy, but he was Hebrew, he was speaking Hebrew, and this Jewish guy, this sailor or slaver, understood him. And they were both from two different cultures, two different races, and yet this supposedly, savage African was speaking Hebrew. And they wrote back to Europe, to the owner of the ship, and they told them this because this boy talked to them in Hebrew and told them about his people, told them about the village that he was in. And the response that the slavers got back wasn't, in keeping with what you would expect. They're saying that they are the descendants of the house of Jacob. The Torah was given to them, blah, blah, blah. But if we read in the Torah, we know that Hebrews were not supposed to enslave other Hebrews.
Right.
So if these were real Hebrews, keeping the law, then their response should have been, we better, free this young man, find his people, and free them and let them go. We can enslave these Hamites, but we can't enslave. We're not supposed to be enslaving, Israelites. We better not do that. But that's not what the response was. What they got back was instructions on destroying the village and putting Hamites as leaders over that village. So what does that tell you? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly what you're saying.
See, it's like information like that, these small little snippets that just bring home, the truth of what you're saying, like what you were reading in that the memoirs or the history of that slave, and how he just noticed things like the castration and such, and which is what I'm pointing out in Romans chapter 11 verse 12. It's like it was important that they take our identity from us. Why? Because they wanted the riches and the wealth. They would get no riches and wealth if they had maybe captured or enslaved 50 Israelites and the rest were Hamites. The Hamites didn't enter into a covenant with the Almighty. The Hamite tribes did not have a pact that listed punishments and promises. If we kept the law, there were promises, and some of those promises included wealth and power. And we know that happened. All we have to do is look at the riches that King Solomon had. We know that he taxed our ancestors heavily, but why was he able to tax us? Because of the wealth that we had. That was one of the promises. But what was the...
Yeah, I apologize, brother. I'm dropping a lot of knowledge there, though. You know what? I mean, you probably want to drop it on a lot of... Send me an email, brother, debatetalkyou@gmail.com.
Yeah, make sure you...
I like what you're dropping, man. I like what you're dropping.
My information.
Yeah. Make sure you definitely send me an email at debatetalkyou@gmail.com. And if you want to... Yeah, Mikha'EL, you say you want to send some information? Go ahead.
Yeah, to the brother that called in, we never called his name, but whatever your name is, man, I like to encourage you. You keep up the studies, and you can reach me on my Facebook page if you have one, Mikha'EL Ben Yisrael. You can also reach me at my email, MikeWard32212 @gmail.com. And, just send me a request, brother. We can build together because I'm in the middle, me and my brother Gerald and brother E. White, a few brothers. We're actually in the middle of trying to form a book club for the Hebrew, an online book club. So everybody can have information. So it won't just be like, we got to always call somebody who we think is wiser. So I think we all need to equip each other.
No doubt, most definitely, man. We're going to take maybe 3 more callers. We have a whole lot of people standing by, man. We got a lot of people with questions, but let's take about 3 more. Let's get 3 more later on. We're going to take some more. Let's go to 312-344. You're live in air. 312-344. You're live in air. 312. All right, going once, going twice. All right, we got to move on. Let's go to 314-680. You're live in air.
Peace. It's your brother, G. Constance. What's up, Mikha'EL? What's up, Sal?
What's up, brother G? Peace to you, brother.
I'm chilling, man, over this road, man, getting this money at the same time, but listening to you. I've been listening to you about 4 hours straight.
It seems like it.
Yeah, I just left out of Kansas City. I'm in Chesterfield now. My viewpoint on it, you know what I'm saying? But how I view it on some things as far as dealing with the Ashkenazis and the Khazars or whatever. I believe you got your European Hebrews, you got your Arabic Hebrews, you got your black Hebrews. These brothers been scattered all over the world, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely got them. And if one Hebrew touch the European, and then that Hebrew keep touching, or his children keep touching them Europeans, already they ancestors. They part of the lineage. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I want to say something real quick too about the book you brought out too, because page 16 in that book, it says
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says I think it says these are sometimes visited. Hold on, let me read from the start. It says, and a narrative written by a slave named Oladua, it says, which can be found in a very good book called The Classic Slave Narratives. Says he gives us 3 details about some men who lived near his village in Nigeria, West Africa. It says these are sometimes visited by stout, mahogany-colored men from the southwest of us. It says we call them Igbo. It says which term signifies red men living at a distance. And the reason why I brought that out is because most people will say Edom was the white man. And this brother just told you in his own book that they call mahogany African culture in the west of them the red man living at a distance. So the ancients did not view red as white. They red as the red color that we see today. They viewed them as the red heifer. And if you look up the red heifer or the pottage which Esau came to, Jacob gave to Esau, it was lentil pottage, lentil stew, and it is brown. So the color red then was not white or the red that we see that's chemically made today. So I wanted to bring that out in that book. But good message, brother. Appreciate the lesson.
Hey, thanks, brother. And look, you always got to throw something in there. I'll be there hollering at you later on tonight. But thanks for calling in, man. Good point, man. Love, brother.
All right, brother. Peace, too. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right, man. And make sure y'all guys tune in to Monday. You know, my man LaRon has a 7-part series on the show every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The 7 dispensations of man. So we're going to go into part 2 this Monday coming up. If you missed part 1, the show is archived. You can always go back and check out the show. But make sure you tune in live Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for part 2. Check out LaRon Campbell. Let's go to the next person, though. Let's go to 910-551. You're live in the air.
This is Divine Emios out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Shalom, Sal. Shalom, Mikha'EL, Ben Yisrael. Shalom, listeners.
Shalom, my brother.
All right. So I believe that the person that called in just before LaRon was a female, but that's none of my business. But if you could give me the hangout information.
Oh, the hangout information. I'm not sure because we either gonna have probably either LaRon or the brother who called in before, Alvin. He probably gonna do the hangout. So if you my Facebook friend,
I just sent one today.
What's your name again, bro?
Divine Emios.
Okay, cool. So that's what I'm gonna do. As soon as we get the hangout started, I'm gonna post it on my wall, and I'll make sure I accept your friend request, and I'll definitely make sure you get invited to that.
Okay, excellent. Now, sister called in for LaRon, man. That was a perfect example of why the way you presented this information is so important. You stayed away from all types of controversy. You touched on the enemy's point of view. You know what I mean? You can develop that more. You know what I mean? You can polish up the whole lesson more. But this the way you present this lesson is critical. You know, it was nice. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't vulgar. You were very apologetic about. I'm not trying to be bashing. I'm not, trying to distinguish myself from all that and this, that, and the third. All that is perfection of Paul's suggestions on how to talk and how to be all soft-spoken and things like that. I'm not saying that's some type of weakness. I'm saying that's even more powerful because it's just like how Sal show is. It's so popular because of how clean it is, and because it reaches more people that way. and
right.
it resonates with people better whenever we're nice to people. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Satan, doggone, seduces everybody is with extreme niceness, and then
he do it.
That stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be just as nice and need to perfect all that stuff. That's the only thing I wanted to add to it, and just polish up the whole lesson, because the way you put all that history into mixed with the I hate to sound like a broken record like everybody else here the same thing, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I felt that way.
Thank you, brother, and I appreciate that a lot, man. That's encouraging, and trust me, everybody that know me know I can go in battle mode, but it's times for that, and it wasn't about what I know. This is a bigger mission and a bigger message, and it's to relay what the Most High is trying to tell us, and therefore I knew it was time for me to put the big battle axe down and just get the little gentle sword, because I'm really trying to show my people the truth. And like the scriptures tell us, you got to watch with the filthy communications and all that type of stuff. It corrupts good matters. So it's times that I have the war gear on and I go in, but on this, I'm really trying to get a message to my people. And if you go in fighting, they automatically gonna defend themselves. Therefore, you'll close their ears. So I thank you, brother, and I'm working on it.
Okay.
I appreciate that call, brother. Like I said, man, if you want to check out Mikha'EL's Facebook page, you can go directly to the blogtalkradios.com/debate talk for you and subscribe to the Facebook page, the Blog Talk Radio page, and check it out. We're going to take one more caller because the brother got a lot more information we want to present out there to the people, and we're going to take some more calls later on. So we're going to take one more caller for now, and after that we're going to go back to the phone lines and hear what you guys got to say about the rest of the information he's going to bring out. Let's go to 586-277. You're live on air.
Shalom, shalom. Debate talk for you. Shalom, Sal, to my brother Mikha'EL, Ben Yisrael. I just wanted to say this was an awesome presentation. I was kind of out and about this Sabbath day, not defiling the Sabbath day, just going about and around trying to, deliver the word to some people that I grew up with, just to let them know, the Lord is real. And, we have to abide to his laws and his ways. So, I had a couple people that just kind of heard, a little bit of the show. I've been listening to the whole thing, and I love the way Mikha'EL brought the show. I love his humbleness. And, to the previous callers, I just want to say the Most High says that we shall draw them nigh with love. So whatever species you are, whatever gender you are, whatever denomination you're from, this is Israel. And, Mikha'EL came with straight book. If you want to hear any more of the book, we are on Blog Talk Radio. The walls of Jericho have fallen, Blog Talk Radio. Every Tuesday night, you can come and hear the brother speak a little bit more, but, I just really appreciated his gentleness with the word and coming forth. And I don't remember the caller that called in before. I don't know what his name was, but he was dropping a whole lot of knowledge. And I would appreciate if that brother did, connect with us on Blog Talk Radio, because he did bring a whole lot of knowledge. And, just to hear a little bit more of what he had to say and, to connect with him, and go forth in the word of God, and that would be appreciative. And I just wanted to say thank you. I'm glad you're back, Sal. Peace.
Hey, peace, shalom, baby, and I love you too. I think the gig is up. I think everybody about know who that was. That was my sweetheart, and I love her. And thank you for the support, baby.
I appreciate the call as well. Appreciate the call. Yeah, somebody's actually, I get a lot of emails right now, get a lot of messages right now from people out there. If you're listening in, I don't know if some technical difficulties. Once you call in, just press number 1, and we can add you into the conversation. Some people are actually letting me know that they're pressing number 1, and I guess I'm not seeing them on the switchboard. I apologize, but again, sometimes there's some technical difficulties. Hopefully not. It's cleared up. Just pressing number 1 multiple times because we want to hear from the people out there. But we're gonna go back to you guys later on. But for now, we're going to let Mikha'EL bring us some more information. And after that, later on, we're going to go back to the people to hear what you guys got to say. So, Mikha'EL, you can bring us some more information. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you so much, my beloved brother Sal, and to all the callers that are getting edified by this and who are enjoying it. I'd just like to say I thank you so much and give all praise to the Most High because I'm just a man in a pile of dirt. That's him revealing these things to us. We just got to open our eyes and ears and accept it. Okay, so when we were leaving off, we broke down, the history. I think that brother Aluda, there you go. I have my tongue been tied tonight. It's Aluda Equiano. So that brother Aluda Equiano kind of just put some realism into this. So when people come to you and say, oh, you a Hebrew Israelite, anybody, that's a religion. I mean, our culture has become a religion, but when it's all said and done, you're still dealing with bloodlines. And being that we recognize that we are in this position due to some fallacies that our forefathers committed, what I was doing before the questions came in was trying to see how to rectify this. It being that this book, just from what we have read together so far tonight, has been on point to the T on the punishment. I spoke of the blessings briefly, but being that it's down to a science on what will happen to us and we can see it every day, I think it's only right that we continue with it and see how to repair it. And I remember I brought up the thing about the prison houses. We dealt with that, with the prison houses, the incarceration rates. We see the scriptures spoke on that. I also spoke on the gang banging and drug dealing and, just the rowdiness of our young men in Isaiah chapter 51. So that's Isaiah chapter 51 and Isaiah chapter 42. I also brought up, some of the moral conditions we have concerning how we let our sons and daughters behave out here, sexually, morally, the whole nine. That was Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17 on through. So with that being said, there's a couple of more things that I actually wanted to point out, and being that so, I think we should go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. I hope y'all kept y'all market up because, like one of the callers said, a lot of people read it, and a lot of times they just breeze through it to catch your attention because, like, if they're in a corner teaching or if they're on TV, they're usually on a time slot. But, Sal got that money, man. They know who he is now. So, we could be on here for like 8 hours, So I'm trying to actually make it clear. So when you get off this phone, it'll be clarity to the certain words and verses that come up in these prophecies because they're in there for a reason. The Most High don't have stuff wrote in books just to fill up the page. They're actually in there for a reason. So I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, and this is another one of our conditions that we're dealing with that nobody else on this planet who calls themselves the Jewish nation can identify with as a whole. So I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I want to read verse 56 and 57, and it reads, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter." Now, you can read in the Torah and other places in the scriptures where I think it's in Proverbs or Psalms where it talks about, how delicate our woman was. We held our women to high esteem. Contrary to popular belief that Hebrews treat our women as second-class citizens, that is not the case. Our women just understand natural order of things, And, you know, the running out there running wild that they done made the black woman famous for in America, that is not us. That is not anything to be proud of. You seen what the brother Aludo Equiano even said. He said that their women were modest. And he was looking at these out-of-control women from the other nations getting drunk and sleeping with everybody. So that lets you know they had this stuff passed down. This was in their DNA not to be like that. So we have failed totally opposite. And then at the bottom it said that this tender woman, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband, her child, and all of that. You know, and if you look at some of the stuff, man, going on with our sisters, man, you know, they setting people up. You know, they want to, you know, it's just a lot of stuff, man. It's so far beneath them. And we got to try to get our women back because our women teach our kids, you know. So we got to build our woman back up. Can't leave the man out. The Most High is a equal opportunity head buster. So we're going to go to the next verse. It says, verse 57. It's still on her right now. It says, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet. Now I want y'all to pay attention to this. And towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, where within thy enemy shall distress thee in thy gate. Now, let's pay attention to this, because there is some historical proof or evidence, and a lot of our people don't like this, but this is the difference between us and made-up theologies. Everybody, they got a theology like if they say they from all these other great ancient civilizations, they only tell you the good stuff. They don't tell you the bad stuff. So that's how another reason you know that this book is not a gimmick. Because if you don't write something about yourself, you would have left all this bad stuff out. But the Most High had this written, so we cannot deny it. But there are instances that talk about cannibalism in 70 A.D. when the Romans sacked Jerusalem, because they built a trench and they basically barricaded us in there to try to starve us out at one time. And, so people went insane. They was diseased, starving and everything, and they burned it and all that type of stuff. So there's cases of it. They even have, there's a lot of insulated incidents on the physical aspect that they say it even happened over here in the shores of America during slavery. The women and men, some went crazy and started killing their babies trying to eat. I don't know. I don't have a lot of information on that. So if you get it, maybe you can run it to me. But what I can tell you is in most of these prophecies, there's always a spiritual connection even to the physical. And when you look at this word where it says, let's pay attention. It said, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear. Do y'all notice the key word? That she shall bear, for she shall, stop right there. Another word for eat. It's two words for eat. One is good and one is bad. One is consume. You can eat something and you can consume it. That's exactly what it can mean. But you can also eat something and you can destroy it. So I paid attention to what it said. Again, from between her feet and towards her children that she shall bear. Israelite woman, Israelite people, do y'all know the number one community in the United States of America that is overrun with abortion clinics? I want y'all to really think about what this verse is saying. We have more abortion clinics in a black community than any place on the face of the earth. They're not in the white communities like that. You'll be hard-pressed to find them. They exist, but they're very rare. All the Planned Parenthoods are in our neighborhoods. They eating our kids before she even bear them. Do y'all see what this saying? We're not even safe in the womb. We got to take these scriptures deep, man. We got to take them deep because the Most High ain't letting us nothing pop up on us as a surprise. It's here, but you got to seek it. We have the highest rate of abortion out of every ethnicity in the United States of America. Go look up Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood eugenics. Whenever y'all get a chance, just type in eugenics, and they came up with a plan to eradicate us. And they saw trying to attack us physically from the outside didn't work. They could kill a lot of us, but they could never eradicate us. You know why? Because if we didn't learn anything from when we were in ancient Egypt, is whenever somebody afflicts us, we make more babies. We good at making babies. That's what Israelites do. So they said, instead of trying to attack them from the outside, let's attack them when they're in the womb. And let's convince them to kill their own children so we don't have to do it. That's what eating your kids is before you even bear them. Do y'all see this? This ain't going on with the Jewish community. They could barely have kids. They happy when it. Matter of fact, they had a thing over there in Israel some years back where they were paying couples to have kids because their numbers was dwindling. They not fertile like we are. So that's another strike against them. And that's another one up for us. Somebody is lying on who is the Jews and who is not. That's what I'm saying overall. And what the brother LaRon said, yeah, of course we going to have some Israelites running around here looking like Antonio Banderas. We know, because we create them type of people within your own family. And it's not just to do with the mixed blood. It's because, for one, it's the people from our bloodline. If you trace it all the way back to Noah, that created all the different looking races. So every now and then, two blue-black people can have a light-skinned, light-eyed child. This is all science. This is God science, not Western science. This that real science. So again, but that was a good point that he brought up. Okay, so I want to continue breaking it down then. So, 56 and 57, we see it's talking about how even our women have declined. And if you remember, when we were in ancient Egypt, and the Pharaoh told the Hebrew midwives to kill the kids, they told them, like, man, them Hebrew midwives ain't going to do that. They're a lively woman. They not like that. When it come to their kids, they not like that. So you see how far they done fell? You would have to kill one of our women back then before she let you take her baby or do anything to it. You see what I'm saying? So, again, let me continue. All right. So I read that. So we see that's another condition that's going to be upon us. So, again, like I said, I don't just want to be all gloomy and grim. We're going to find us a way about this because it's all up in here. But I got to keep going. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sal. Even though you ain't say nothing, I think you sneezed or something and you made me remember. I don't know, when a person called in and they was saying about how Billie Holiday made that song Strange Fruit with Black Bodies Swangin'. I know what song he talking about, right? Or she, I really couldn't tell either, no disrespect. But Isaiah just brought this up to my head, so I got to get into it because that has to have been the Most High that made that call to even bring that up because he said strange fruit. Now, being that we're in this position, let's go ahead and see another one of the ramifications. Let's just see how this even goes. I would like to go to Isaiah chapter 5. Man, that was crazy that the caller brought up that strange fruit because soon as they said that, I'm looking and my eyeballs just went straight to the prophet Isaiah. I mean, it resonated in my spirit when the caller said that. So I want to go to Isaiah chapter 5, verse 1, and I'm going to read verse 1 through 7. So I want y'all to follow along with me. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 1 through 7. And this is what it said. Again, it's for the children of Israel. This is about to show how far we came. All the Most High did for us. If y'all know at one time we had a nation that could not be bothered. I mean, we had everything we needed, But this was a long time ago. But let's look at it. It says, chapter 5, verse 1, Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved have a vineyard and a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vines and built a tower in the midst of it and also made a wine press therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. There go that strange fruit she's talking about, right? And now, inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, so we see who is talking about it. I'm not talking about a literal vineyard. Judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? The Most High saying he did everything for us. He fenced it up, dressed it up. He gave us a kingdom. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to separate us from the other nations. These laws, statutes, and commandments cover all of morality. The other nations supposed to look upon us and be like, man, we want to be like that. So he asked a question. He said, what more, he said, what could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Okay, continue. Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. So now he upset. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste, and it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain not upon it. This actually has, right now, we don't look protected. Every nation just want to just come through here and just shoot us down like dogs. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nobody gonna stop it. Don't nobody care. He took them fences away from around us that protected us, man. And it also has a historical meaning to it. 70 A.D. Jerusalem. That was our holy city. That was our capital. That was a no-no. Ain't nobody going to do nothing in Jerusalem. Please. Them nations came in there and burnt it down. All of this. The Most High allowed this because he's upset with us, man. Because we are hard-headed, retarded, acting people. That's all I could think of is retarded. Let me read verse 7. For the vineyard of the Lord of the hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah, his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression for righteousness. But behold, a cry. So, man, the Most High, I understand the frustration we have because the way I came up, and I still get like that sometimes. Yeah, I be wanting to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, these people, they don't know Israel ain't no punks, man. They ain't finna keep doing this to our people. But at the end of the day, if you go out there and try to do something, you ain't going to do nothing but get yourself jacked up in the worst position. Because, for one, you just totally ignored the whole reason that this happening. It's this coming from your God, man. Them people couldn't do nothing to us when we was in line with the Most High. Couldn't no nation deal with us when we was in line with the Most High. So that tells me we got to get straight with the Most High. I ain't worried about them. Yeah, speak out against their injustices and their oppressions. Ain't nobody saying let nobody walk over you, but you get yourself in line with the Most High God, and I'm telling you, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Therefore, it's unfair for us to just have our little households and circles straight because we got the wisdom and we in tune with the Most High, keeping his laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinance. We got to share the wealth with our people because they still out there getting their heads split because they living wild and don't even know it. All they doing is offending the Lord more and more every day. That's why he letting them get touched up. I know he let them touch me up. So ain't like I'm not preaching down whatsoever. I'm hoping y'all can feel me, man. I'm talking eye to eye to my nation, man. It's this to my people. So, okay, where was I at? All right, yeah, I got in my little preacher mode, y'all. Y'all got to forgive me. Isaiah 5 and 7. So, yeah, so we see that, and we see that, the Most High said he planted us, man, like he did no other nation. And the Most High didn't let every nation get their little glory. He don't trip off that because ultimately our glory is the kingdom. We going to rule Jerusalem. Anybody that want to get there got to go through us. Now, that might sound cocky or anything like that, but at least I'm not on here saying other nations can't get in there. but they going to understand that we going to rule it. That's what the scriptures say. Right now, y'all have y'all fun on this earth. But I really got more respect for the other nations who turn to our God when they don't really get to. If you look at it, they got their kingdom. They got their kingdom. So the fact that they would take themselves off their high pedestal and say, man, you know what? These Negroes got the truth, and these them Israelites. These them same ones that went and taught Cornelius and taught the Europeans and everything. You know what I'm saying? And for them to come and listen to us on TV, because a lot of Hebrews don't even let other nations in their camps, but I guess they watching them on TV or whatever. I thank the Most High that the camp that I come from not like that. If you want to serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, come serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And me and some of my Hebrew brothers defer on that. We don't let it really get us into it, because at the end of the day, they know I'm their brother, But this is what it is, man. It ain't no time to sugarcoat it, because I don't like no wicked people, man. But we got to get Israel straight first, because Israel can't be talking about everybody else's wickedness, and we the stinkiest people in the crowd. So let me go to really reiterate what we just read so we can know where it's coming from. Matthew, I want to go to Matthew chapter 21. Another time probably getting a little short. I'm going to put a little pep in my step. Matthew chapter 21. And Matthew 21. Yeah, kind of sad I didn't have my reader today, because we usually go, he motivate me. We go hand in hand. He wasn't able to do it, but it's kind of cool because actually when I'm reading for myself, I actually see the scriptures even better, if that make any sense. But I don't know. My readers on my walls.
Yeah, stand by me, guys. Let's let the people know we have 8 minutes on the air, guys. We have 8 minutes on the air. However, we're going to go into the overtime part of the show. So if you want to hear the rest of the show, guys, you can call in now before the time runs out, 646-716-7320. And by the way, we still have people standing by for questions. So we're going to get to you guys, but we're just going to let Mikha'EL bring us some more information. And once again, before the time runs out, you're going to have to call in via phone or via Skype. Again, the number is 646-716-7320. If you have a question, press number 1. And the show is archived if you happen not to call in. Go ahead, Mikha'EL. I apologize. Go ahead.
It's good, brother. I'm about to read Matthew 21, the further bag up what the prophet Isaiah said in chapter 5. I want to go to Matthew chapter 21. And in Matthew chapter 21, I want y'all to pay close attention to what it's saying. Matthew chapter 21, and I want to pick it up at verse 33. And it reads, "Here another parable, there was a certain householder which planted a vineyard." Remember the vineyard in Isaiah. "And hedged it round about, and digged a winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to a husbandman, and went into a far country. And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandman, and they might receive the fruits of it." These prophets. So watch it. "And the husbandman took his servants and beat one, and killed another, and stoned another. Again he sent other servants, more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all he sent unto them his son, saying, They will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him, and cast him out of the vineyard, and slew him. When the Lord thereof of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen?" This is talking about Israel. And the son was the Messiah, Jesus Christ, Yahshua HaMashiach, whatever you call him. This was him. Now, so all the other servants he was sending there was the prophets. If you go back and look back in history, the Israelites always had something to do with killing our own who came to try to correct us when we got in our folly. So then they say, well, I send my son. It's the father. I'm going to send my son. I know they're going to do him right. Sent the son, we murdered him. And this is some of the reasons that we getting our heads split right now. And I'm going to skip to verse 45. And when the chief priests and the Pharisees had heard his parable, they perceived that they spoke of them. So when the Pharisees heard this, they was like, oh, wow, this dude talking about us. And that's kind of funny, too. We could connect that with some stuff today that actually happened in history also. Now, I know we ain't got all night, but I just want to make it clear where all this is coming from and why we getting what we getting. The Most High hand is in this. And then it's another thing. We don't understand. The more we rebel, it's almost as if we are actually committing an act of war against our commander-in-chief, which is our God, the God of Israel. We are actually committing treason against him. So to be honest with you, you don't even have to say we were slaves here. We was prisoners of war. But the bad thing about it is, you know who the war was with? The war was with our God. We kicked it off with him, man. Real talk. I want to read this, Jeremiah chapter 12. Jeremiah chapter 12. I know you got about, 4 minutes left before we go to overtime?
Just about.
Okay. Jeremiah chapter 12, and I want to pick it up at verse 7. I'm just trying to beat this across the heads of my people. I have forsaken my house. I have left my heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. My heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it. Do y'all know what that means? I watch National Geographic. I love Animal Planet. And if you ever see a male lion go to the end of his territory and just get the roaring, they say that roar travels for miles and miles. When he roaring, do you know what he doing? That's a battle cry to any other males that's intruding on his territory. So he's saying we like a lion roaring to him. It's like a threat. So everything we doing, we actually are spiritually attacking him with our disobedience. And he said it made him hate us. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. We got to get back right, man. We got to get back right with him, man, so we can correct this thing. Our fight was with the Most High. Let's stop fighting them, and let's submit to the will of God, man, so we can get our kids cleaned up off these streets, so we can get our brothers and sisters off drugs, so we can get our brothers up out these penitentiaries, man, so we can get some employment, so we can get our brothers up out here that's homeless and starving. We can correct all of this, but it got to start with us going back to the Constitution of the Hebrew Israelites, and that is the moral and the royal laws of the Most High God that's found in the Torah and the Tanakh, and that is reinforced by the New Testament. We going into overtime or whatever, it's up to you, Sal.
Yeah, but we're gonna go into the overtime part of the show. But I want to take some of these questions. People have been standing by, so whenever you're ready, man, let me know. Give me the cue, brother. Give me the cue, so we can go to the people.
Okay. Let me see if I got one more to throw in there. Okay. Well, you know what? No, somebody got some questions. You can let them get in because I just got a few. I got a couple of more verses I want to read. We in overtime now?
Yeah, it's like 1 minute and 49 seconds, but we're gonna have a whole hour for the overtime part of the show, so we good. We good, brother.
Yeah, I try. I know you want me to hang with you all night, bro, but I'm gonna try to do that.
It's up to you, man.
All right, let me see. Nah, it's all good. I enjoy this. I have another one that I want us to pay attention to, because it's going right back to our condition. But we see why the Most High took these hedges off of us. We that vineyard, man. And he dressed us up, made us look pretty, and we turned into some wild fruit. We basically weeds now. And that's another reason why at the end he say he going to separate the wheat from the tare. Weed is good for the body, but weeds, tares ain't nothing but weeds. They kill everything in the garden like we killed the prophets and everything else. So when you start understanding these things symbolically, it starts to make a lot of sense. So I want to go to Lamentations, the book of Lamentations. And this a book of pain, boy. This whole book is basically us crying. So I want to go to Lamentations. Hold on, excuse me. Lamentations and seconds, y'all.
Once again, guys, we're going on to the overtime part of the show. The number is 646-716-7320. If you want to hear the rest of the show live, if you want to chime in with your questions or your comments live, call in before the time runs out. Go ahead, Mikha'EL.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to read Lamentations, and I'm going to read chapter 5, and here it goes. Here's another one of our conditions right here. Just listen close. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. So we know that if you really look in our community, and that also is like a two-edged thing it's talking about, because our inheritance, that's part of that, is talking about our land and how they came in there. And but really what it's talking about, all the stuff that we were supposed to have and be on top, everybody else got it. And it said we like widows. We like motherless kids. And actually, literally, we got one of the largest populations of that also. And fatherless child. That's another thing that I hadn't even touched on yet that's in here. The amount of single mothers that we get in our neighborhood as opposed to the person who call themselves Jewish. It don't exist with them. All they daddies in their house. So that's another negative point for them and one up for us. They just not fitting these prophecies, man. Nobody is fitting these prophecies but this so-called Negro. So let me read this. I'm going to go back one book, y'all. I'm going to go to Lamentations chapter 4. Lamentations chapter 4, and I'm going to pick it up in verse 4, and it says, the tongue of the this one right here really going to get you. The tongue of the sucking child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young child asks bread, and no man bringeth it unto them. You know how many starving little hungry kids we got out here? And the mothers out there trying to get drugs and dope and all that type of stuff. The daddy already ain't in the house. We got kids out here and it said like their mouth is clinging to the roof, their tongue clinging to the roof of their mouth. This is a bad condition that our people are in. And this actually happened to the extreme historically, because this was around the time of the prophet Jeremiah. But he's speaking prophetic. So let's look at this. Verse 5. They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. Now this was stripped out. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. So the Most High saying that the ones who did have some parents that tried to take care of them a little bit, they out there in the streets. And I know it because I had both of my parents. I still decided to join the gang and go out there and, do the stuff that gangbangers did. Put my family through a lot of stress, unnecessary hospital bills from bullet wounds and, going in and, in and out the police station and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And I was brought up pretty decent. I chose to be a knucklehead, though. This thing was already spoken of about you, Israel, not about Dr. Rabbi Schlussenberg and Goldstein and all them other people. No, this is talking about you, Leroy, Tyrone, Shaquita. So look at this. Verse 6. For the punishment of the iniquity, and it said this, I can't forget that part. It said, and the ones that was brought up in scarlet, the ones that was doing pretty good or thought they had a little money, he said they embraced dunghills. So he was like, yeah, you might think you got a little something, but you basically, you out there hugging boo-boo. Your stuff stink too. So the ones who look like they doing good ain't really doing good. This is the whole thing, people. Listen. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. That was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands stayed on her. He's saying, man, the punishment that we getting for our iniquity, for the iniquity of our forefathers that broke the laws in Deuteronomy 28 when he gave us a chance to take the blessings over the curses, he said that iniquity is worse than what happened he said the punishment of that iniquity, that the punishment that he doing to us with the whole slavery and where we at now, and brothers getting their head blew off, and brothers all in the jails, and the mothers out here struggling, and sisters out here stripping trying to eat. All of this type of stuff, he said it's worse than what he did to Sodom. Because at least with Sodom, like he said, he wiped it out in an instant. With the hands, he wiped it out with an instant. But with us, it's a continual destruction. And it goes on generation after generation. He said this was worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. He ain't saying we worse. Well, he do compare us to it at times. But what he's saying is he did them better by just wiping them out. We got to put up with it. So we got to really turn away from it. And with that, let me see. I think I just got a couple more places, Sal. I do. I know exactly where I'm going. I got a couple more places. This won't be that long. And then we can go ahead, since we're in overtime. And okay, let me see. I also want to go here. This is one of the main keys to our people to get us back on track and right with the Most High God. So even if you don't subscribe to religion, because I don't consider myself religious anyhow, because if you're listening now, this hasn't even really been about religion. This is about our culture. Our culture was obedience to the Most High God. Now, the other people who got it turned it into a religion, but that's not what it is. But even if you don't subscribe to any type of religious text, if you sitting here listening, you cannot tell me that there's anything wrong with what I'm reading to you as far as the tools to correct ourselves. And here's one right here that I really want to bring out. Proverbs, I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 1, and I'm going to read verse 8. It says, well, I'll start at verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Now, y'all hear this? That's one of the main things that get us cut off. Because in the original royal laws, the Ten Commandments, one of the main things he told us was honor thy father and thy mother. So our days should be long on the earth. So we got to start back in the house. Kids, man, y'all got to honor y'all parents. And parents, we get them something to honor. I mean, they got to do it anyway, even if you a rotten parent. But, get them something to honor, man. Let's start back being real mamas and daddies to our children. This would stop a lot of the stuff that's going on in the street if everybody taking care of their own household. So I'm going to go to another one. I'm going to stay in Proverbs. I'm going to skip over and go to chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6, and I'm going to go to verse 20. Proverbs 6 and 20. Again, it repeats. It says, my son, keep thy father's commandment and forsake not the law of thy mother. So, that's all. That also shoots that in the head where we got some of our Hebrew brothers teaching that the mother, that the woman, the mother, can't teach her children. Well, that ain't what the book say. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to listen to the laws of your mother. So, again, if we follow these things, we on the road back to salvation. These are just some little keys on the road back to salvation. And I want to read this last one. Let me see. Did I sneak another one in there? Okay, yeah. I'm going to read this last one. Actually, yeah. Let me read this. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Again, I hope y'all kept a marker there because I told y'all I was going to be in and out there all day because it needs to be really clarified. And I'm glad that so far the callers, whether they agree or not, that they say I'm doing a good job. So all praise to the Most High God. Deuteronomy chapter 30, this is the key. If we start getting back on road and following his laws, taking care of our house, taking care of our neighbors, taking care of our people, and just being righteous, this is what the Most High says. And it shall come to pass, when all these things have come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I commanded thee this day, that thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul, so we got to teach our children this, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. So he gave us keys. He told us, turn back to his law, statutes, and commandments. Separate yourself from the world, man, and all this nonsense that they like to do. Be an upright and righteous people to the best of your abilities, and the key was to teach your children this. So your children to teach their children this, and before you know it, within a 60-year time gap, now you have at least a million more commandment keepers than you had 50 years ago. See, the Most High is so smart with this thing, it actually makes logical sense. It's not spookery. We do not serve a God of spookism. So I got one last point I'd like to bring out, and then, Sal, you can open up the show. I say hallelujah and thank the Most High God for bringing us this, but I'd like to also add to it some more things to the history, since I know people got their pen and paper. I named those tribes, and I'm so silly, I almost forgot the name of the tribe that I found out more than likely that I'm from, and that is the Ashanti tribe. The Ashanti tribe from Ghana. If you research these Ashanti tribe from Ghana, they over there, they used to have a great empire at one time. And the thing about the Ashanti tribe, and I'm proud to say that I'm one. The Ashantis are without a doubt Israelites. It's all in their oral tradition. They're one of the easier tribes to even follow back. Of course, with even some of the tribes in Africa, all of them don't subscribe to what you would call Judaism or even Hebrewism. They're just, to a degree, they're like us. Some of them are caught up in other religions and all that, like the brother Raheem called in and said. But genetically, they all have an oral story that traces them back to where they come from, and it's what you call Northeast Africa or the Middle East, over there by the Holy Land. And the name in itself, Ashanti, is extremely interesting. Okay, I want to bring this up to you. Let me see. You look up, whenever you get a chance, just go check out the story of King Kofi Kari Kari. King Kofi Kari Kari of the Ashanti tribe. Just go check his story out. Do some research on the Ashanti tribe, and I'm going to tell you why. But King Kofi Kari Kari ruled from, I think, 1837 to like 1884. And this the thing. See, the Ashanti tribe was in Africa for hundreds of years, but they did not build an empire until 1701. And that was under O.C. Tutu Opamiso. O.C. Tutu Opamiso, who was the first crown Ashanti. So in 1701, O.C. Tutu Opamiso was the first crown Ashanti. And the word Ashanti means king of all Ashanti. So he united all the Ashanti tribes that were scattered, and he became the first Ashanti, as you would call. So he would be like, that king that united them. Now, this is funny because remember in Deuteronomy 28, he said, I will take you and your king that you set over you and throw, you know what I'm saying, and spread you around or whatever. So this lets us know, we know as far as the nation of Israel is concerned, the last king that we had, when the Most High had our government set up, when we were still in the land, was Zedekiah. But after we went into those African lands, we are a tribal people. You think we stopped having kings? No, we had kings all the way when we came to the West Coast, but he did not ordain them. That's why he said the king that you set up. We set these kings up. So guess what? They got two down right along with us. Some of them stayed over there in the land. Like him, of course, he was in the land. He had an empire. But you see what I'm saying? The Most High did not ordain that as far as it would not be no more temple set up where we could come from all over the world and go keep the Passover in the new Holy Land. No, it wasn't none of that. It still ain't going on. That ain't going to happen till you come back and fix up the one we got now. And last but not least, dealing with the Ashanti tribe. Remember, y'all know how to spell Ashanti like the singer, Ashanti. It is an important thing that I want to point out about the Ashanti tribe. the word Ashanti in itself is 1,000% Hebrew origins. The word at the end, T-I or T-E, because you could spell Ashanti two ways. You could spell it A-S-A-N-T-E, or you could spell it A-S-H-A-N-T-I. And the word T means people of. So the name Ashanti literally means people of Ashan. So now we got to find out, where is Ashan? What is Ashan? Where did they get Ashan from? Okay, I'm about to show you. About to go to Joshua chapter 15. See, this book, I don't care how much the quote-unquote white man tried to corrupt or whatever he tried to do, he did a terrible job. Joshua chapter 15, verse, I'm going to pick it up. It's Joshua chapter 15, and I'm going to go to verse 42. Joshua 15 and verse 42. And it reads, no, I'm going to start at 41. Oh, yeah, 42. Okay, here goes 41. And Gederoth, Begadon, and Naamah, and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages, Lebanon, and Ether, and Ashan. Now, y'all think that, right? And Ashan. Just so you don't think it's just a typo and a coincidence, we going to stay right here in the book of Joshua, and I'm going to go to Joshua chapter 19. Joshua chapter 19. Showing you where the Ashanti got their name for the people of Ashan. This is the Ashan that they're talking about. Joshua chapter 19, verse 7. Joshua 19 and 7. And it reads, Joshua 19 and 7. These, Ain, Rimmon, and Ether, and Ashan, 4 cities and their villages, and all the villages that were round about these cities to Baltabir, Ramoth of the south. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Okay, so when you see the Ashanti, and you can also go on your own time, to 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 32, and you can go to 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 59, and it talks more about Ashan. Ashan was one of the 4 suburbs or cities in the land of Israel. These were where a lot of times the Simeonites were there, with some Judites there and all that. But these were land given to the Israelites. So now you know who's chilling over there in Africa calling themselves the Ashanti. These are Israelites. And like I said, if you go look at it, Judah was over there also in that land. And that's funny because they said a lot of the Ashanti that came to a lot of the tribes that came to America, to the Western Hemisphere, were Ashanti tribesmen. Now you understand why King Kofi had to unite all the Ashantis. Because at this time, Ashantis wasn't just a specific tribe. You had a lot of Israelites who were scattered throughout Africa who took up the banner of Ashanti and joined the Ashanti kingdom. So the Ashantis that came over here in America is part of the southern kingdom of Judah. And with that, I say shalom, shalom. Thank you so much, Brother Sal. Thank the whole Debate Talk for You audience. And I hope I edified people. I know it's a lot of things. Some people, this is what we do on Debate Talk for You. We have so many different levels of scholasticity. Yeah, that's a word. Of scholars, basically, that we all have different beliefs, and a lot of times it's set up for debate. But tonight it's just set up for edifying. I didn't come in the spirit of debate. If it's some things you disagree with, that's cool. We could probably talk about it. If it's not worth talking about, that's cool also. But with all things, I hope you at least understand the understanding and the mindset of a true Hebrew Israelite, because that's what I am, and a lot of us have the same understanding that I have. Even they might have little differences in doctrines about what people is who, but I can guarantee you one thing we all agree on. We them people, and we need to get up out this jam. Shalom.
All All right. Well, since we're in the overtime part of the show, people are calling in via phone and via Skype. We have a lot of listeners on the phone right now, and we're going to go to the people out there to hear what you guys got to say. All you got to do is press the number 1, and we can add you to the conversation, make a comment or a question. Again, the number, well, you call it in already. You know the number by now, 646-716-7320. Let's go to the first person up. Let's go to 312-344. You're live on air.
Hey, Sal. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Mikha'EL.
Shabbat shalom.
It's your girl, Tori. Ayla Toria. Israel.
Hey, grace and peace, my sister. What's up, Tori?
I just wanted to say I thoroughly enjoyed this lesson. I thoroughly enjoyed this show. You brought it. You brought some heat. Every scripture you went to, I'm typing it in on Bible Gateway and just like posting it straight to Facebook. And I'm gonna get that book that you mentioned at first, the narratives.
Yeah, of Aludo Equiano.
Yeah, I saw it on Amazon. I'm gonna try to get it for the Kindle because it's like 99 cents. So,
okay.
But I actually sent you a private message because you said you didn't have enough time to elaborate. I think it was Matthew 21:45. So make sure you get back to me on that one. But you brought it though, bro. I'm so proud of you, and just, you know what I'm saying. And I told Sal I didn't even realize his show was like off the hook like this. So I'll be checking in more often. This is awesome. I'm proud of both of y'all. Y'all bringing it. All praise to the Most High.
Most definitely. Thank you, sister. All praise. See, Sal,
you want to say something? Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, you can elaborate.
Man, Sal, you know that's the goal, man. I've been telling people. I told you, bro. I'm gonna hire you a billboard on the expressway pretty soon, man. There ain't too many people I promote outside what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, my camp. But, hey, I mean, you got some real stuff people can learn on here. Even when the people get on here talking, foolishness, you can learn to at least not listen to them people no more. So this is a good show, brother, and I thank you for, inviting me on here.
Yeah, we got some more people. Don't go nowhere. We got some more people standing by. Let's go to 252-883.
Peace, this is Brother Raheem again. I have to say, basically, I enjoyed the show, and he was basically dropping some knowledge that's, people probably haven't heard before, and that's real good, and, I agree with it. I wanted to talk about...
What's the but? What's the but? What's the but, Rashad? You already know you, man, Raheem. What's the but, man?
Oh, it's nothing bad.
Okay, cool.
No, I just wanted to talk basically, when you were saying we need to get away, and do the laws and things like that, from the perspective of getting away from Caucasian culture, period. Once you get away from Christmas, away from Valentine's Day, away from 4th of July, which is a lie, and all these celebrations that they do, your mind will start to click, because it did for me. And you'll be able to think more, and you don't have to be in a state of delusion, because Christmas is one of the most downing spiritually and celebrations, because people can't have enough money. Don't have enough money to get what they have to get for people. They start stealing. They go into a period of psychosis and so forth and so forth. And people don't know that. People think everybody is happy on Christmas. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk to you about that eagle thing, too, because I wanted to ask you a question. Where did the American flag come from?
Oh, man, you finna turn this into a whole... See, that's why I tried to make it simple, but the eagle actually has a lot of ramifications to it, because do you know one of the ancient Egyptian signs was actually they would use I think it was a hawk, right? You know it, a hawk. And it was a hawk grappling a snake. And if you look at the American eagle, all they did was change the hawk into an eagle. You know what I'm saying? I knew you were setting me up, Raheem. Come on, man.
No.
No, in a good way. I mean, in a good way. I know you want to get to the depthness of it. Yes. That is the exact same symbol. And that is why one reason in Deuteronomy 28 it tells us he said that they will come swift on eagle's wings. And when you look on your dollar, the first thing you see is a bald eagle holding a snake. If you go back to ancient Egypt, they had that same thing. And then they passed it and rotated it all through Europe because when the Roman Empire took over, they had the golden eagle. They had a big staff whenever they came and took over, and we just under the revised Roman Empire anyway, and they had a golden eagle. So that eagle symbol has been used as an adversary to the Most High God for thousands of years, brother.
Yeah, and plus, see, I have the picture of, it's called the Amenemhat, right? And it's a royal medallion of Egypt. And the funny thing about that Amenemhat, it has the stars, right? And it's red, white, and blue.
You know what? I've never seen the colors, but I've heard people say a lot of times that the one in Egypt is red, white, and blue. Wow, I guess that's confirmation then, because you about the third person I've heard say that.
Matter of fact, I got the picture, so I'm gonna send it to you. I got your email address. I'm gonna send it straight to you tonight, so you'll have
that's
it.
That's what's up. Send it to me, man, and shoot me a friend request. I don't think you ever did it.
Okay, cool, no problem. And one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was like the Israelis that's over there. People must understand that a person named Goldstein, that's not what you call an Israelite name. That's a Yiddish or Polish or German name. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to them, people need to go to them, like when you see the Caucasian one with the 2 locks on the side of their head, or, go to them and just ask them, where do your lineage start? Because if you go against them, the first thing they'll say, you're anti-Semitic, when they're not even Semitic. They are Japhetic. They're not even in the bloodline. So you got to ask yourself.
That's the funny thing, though. I got actually a whole thing I did on exactly who Esau is, and that brother that called in way earlier. I think his name was Jonathan James or something like that. But I'm gonna accept his friend request. Me and him actually broke bread, because he come from one of the other camps. I think over there close to you on the East Coast. And, they have their belief that all white people were Esau. And then, you got the Gentiles, like you said, that come from Japhet. And I was showing him how actually, man, it was a whole nother breakdown, you know what I'm saying? Because they both got some truth to it. And this the thing. This what a Jewish person going to tell you. When you do what you just said, Raheem, and asked about their lineage, they already prepared for it. See, we know as Hebrews, we trace the lineage through our father, through a man. So therefore, it can never get through off because women change their name even when they get married. But that man, he can marry any nation. They going to have his name, and that child, I don't care if the child look Chinese, is still going to be an Israelite or a Jew, quote unquote. Well, if you go to the Jewish people, they flipped it, said it is what your mother is, or your grandmother's ancestry. That's a way of hiding who they are, because it's almost impossible to follow that. You see what I'm saying? They knew what they were doing. They had this planned a whole long time before they went over there and got their feet in that land over there. They knew. Oh, you're right, brother. All you got to do is ask. That's going to open up a can.
Well, you know how that goes. But that's all I had to say. And basically, good show, and I'll send you that email tonight.
Okay, brother. Shalom alaikum.
Excellent.
All right. Also, Raheem, before you go, man, I know you got the big debate next week, brother. That big debate. Want to mention anything on that? Is the Hebrew the spoken language of creation that's going down next Friday? Any quick comments on that? Go ahead.
Oh, basically, it's not. It's basically it's going to be a debate, but I'm going to also be teaching at the same time that linguistically, history, geographically, culturally, epigraphic evidence, et cetera, is going to show that it wasn't around in creation, because I'm going to show a couple of documents that's kind of crazy from the Jewish, like the brother just said, what they said, and how they got us believing certain things that is not right. And I'm coming from a scholarship, of evidence. You know what I'm saying? So basically, that's my aim, is to teach and show where the Hebrew word come from, and I'm going to be getting into two words, Hebrew and Abraham, and any peripherals around that, I'm going to be able to show exactly where its origins from, and then I'm going to deal with also the book of Jubilees, chapter 12, verses 25 and 26, and this word Hebrew as a translation from the Amharic. You get what I'm saying? Then I'm going to go into other things, and I'm going to keep it like that because I don't want to give out the, the secrets. And that's
who you debating?
Moshe. I think his name is Moshe Israel. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, changed his name to Shemaiah. Ben Yisrael. That's his new name. That's Moshe.
Shemaiah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But guys, if you're unaware, again, next week is going down next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're known for the Lions Den debates, the most respected debate forum via internet. So make sure you check it out. Mikha'EL, you want to share any words before we move on to the next person?
I'm gonna make. When you say his debate gonna be?
Oh, it's going down on Friday, next Friday.
Okay, cool. And I know LaRon got that 6 more pieces to do to that 7 stages thing on Monday, so I'm gonna check that out. I don't think I know that Moshe though, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out, man. That sounds like that's gonna be a good topic. And like I said,
know him. He's the same Moshe you called him before from Chicago. He has his radio show, Can TV. Same brother.
Oh, okay. Well, if you listen to Moshe Shalom, I love you, brother. But okay, well, you real funny, Sal. But but like anybody listening, like I said, you can always reach me, the Walls of Jericho. I have a group too. My group is called The Walls of Jericho Have Fallen. Just put in The Walls of Jericho, it'll pop up. And my show every Tuesday night, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, The Walls of Jericho. And we're going to start back our show soon for the sisters every Wednesday night, and that's my wife's show, and that's called Beauty for Ashes for the sisters. So, yeah, that's that. I'm just going to listen and see if some more callers call in.
All right, I had a question in the chat room. Let me just read it out to you now. Let me read out that question in the chat room. It says, can he show that those tribes were claiming Jewish ancestry prior to the Jews coming into Africa with the Moors after 1492? I'm going to read it again. Can he show that those tribes were claiming Jewish ancestry prior to the Jews coming into Africa with the Moors after 1492?
I surely can. I don't have that information on me right now, but I could tell you what to do. Just research the Jewish-Roman wars. And once you see, it's going to talk about the fall of Jerusalem in 70 A.D. Now, the fall of Jerusalem in 70 A.D. tells you that the majority of them fled into Africa. So what you think, they left their tradition and culture in Jerusalem? No, they took it with them. You can also go to, you can read from Babylon to Timbuktu. It's in there. And you can also research today's city of Babylon, of Timbuktu, and they'll tell you that the guardians that actually guard the books that the Muslims tried to burn. If you go do a research, when the Arab invasion came through there, they tried to burn all of the books in Timbuktu. Well, the people who guard those books to this day and was able to salvage them are Judeans. A lot of them are Islamic, but they actually, you can pull it up. I think you can Google it. It was on what's the name of that big timeline? I think it was in early 2000. I'll say around 2003, 2004. I'm not sure, but it was on Timeline magazine. It was front cover where they went there to Timbuktu and they were talking to the people, the guardians of the books of the knowledge or whatever, and they specifically told them, they asked them how could they read the Hebrew and had all that, and they told them, they said, we've been here since 70 AD. We are the Jews. So, they actually say it out their mouths. So that really, that would be your best bet. Go to the horse's mouth. They say that they are Judeans by blood. See, Jewish didn't exist until the European got a hold of it. So they let you know a lot of their religion is Islam, but their nationality is Israelite.
Yeah, and I appreciate that comment in the chat room. And once again, send me your email, Mikha'el. Let people know your email so they can email you. The people that's over the phone or via Skype, let them know your email address. Just to get that in one question.
It's Mike Ward, MIKEWARD, W as in warrior, ARD, 32212 @gmail.com. That's Mike Ward 32212 @gmail.com. You can look me up on Facebook, Mikha'EL Ben Yisrael.
All right, guys. So once again, we're going to sign off in a few minutes. You got to do press number 1 if you want to comment or if you have a quick question. Again, everybody's in the chat room. I appreciate everybody who's in the chat room that dropped their comments. And once again, guys, it's your time. If not, we can pretty much sign off, get some last words from Mikha'el. Once again, the show is archived. You can always go back and check out the entire show. Go to www.blogtalkradio.com/debate talk for you. Check out this show. You can check out season 1 all the way up to the present. And once again, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the iTunes podcast. It's absolutely free. All right, Mikha'el, nobody else is pressing number 1. Everybody that's just listening, you can share some last words with the people before we sign off. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, and just another reply to the person who asked that question. He said he said before the 1400s. Is that what he said?
Yeah, let me go back to it real quick. It says after 1492. After 1492.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, do all that advice that I gave you, but it's very simple. All you got to do is go, for instance, I said it earlier, but I don't think if you had caught me. But actually, the article I had pulled up, you can actually go to Wikipedia and just pull up African Jews, and it'll tell you, it specifically says when dealing with tribes like the Lemba, the Ibu, and the Yoruba, it said they actually go back, some of them, 2,700 years ago. So that's way before the 1400s, if my math is any good. So, that kind of blows that out the water. So you can go ahead and check that out. And I'd just like to say to everybody that called in, I hope you ate good and, got some water of knowledge that the Most High was able to bestow upon my little brain. And I just pray that we all continue to gather and build together and come out this darkness and go towards this marvelous light so we can get our people back straight, man, because Jacob's trouble is on the way, and if y'all think it's bad, it's only going to get worse. And I'm telling you, we them people, and some people have a misconception about Hebrew Israelites that we're cocky and we're arrogant and we're rude and we're mean and all that type of stuff. No, you're just misconceiving. Some of us may be like that, but for the most part, I'm going to tell you this Hebrew Israelite right here that's been through a rough life, and now I'm standing tall because I'm in the truth. You're going to have your ups and downs, but the truth is I am a Hebrew Israelite. I wouldn't choose to be a Hebrew Israelite with all these curses and conditions that are on us if I would have chose something. But the truth is, I found out I was a Hebrew Israelite. It cannot be refuted, disputed, or defuted by anybody or any scholar or theologian or atheist on the planet Earth. I accept that I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Therefore, everything that I do as a chosen child of the Most High, and all of us in the nation of Israel, is put under a microscope by the Most High God. So, no, we are not arrogant. We actually have to be more careful because he said he chastises his child that he loves. If he did not chastise us, we would be bastards. So I'm glad to know that I'm not a bastard. I'm a child of the Most High God. Therefore, I have to hold myself accountable, walk upright, and be a true ambassador of Christ. And with that say, I say shalom, shalom.
You don't want want to miss the best debate show via internet? Debate Talk Radio. Check out the schedule for Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time or at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. To check out the archives, go to www.blogtalkradio.com/debate talk 4 and the letter U. You can listen via phone or via Skype by dialing that number 646-716-7320. Again, that's 646-716-7320. You can also go to iTunes to the podcast section. Just type in the search box Debate Talk 4 and letter U, and you'll see the show pop up absolutely free. You can check out season 1 all the way up to the present season and enjoy the entire show. So keep it locked on Debate Talk Radio. Check us out.
Daily word.